season. The Houston Texans made a huge trade last night, got C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson Jr. at number 2 and 3 in the draft. And tonight, second and third round of the draft, you can listen on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Mike Jimenez.
The San Antonio Spurs are the world champions.
Tim Spence.
Victory! Cowboys win!
It's showtime. It's Jimenez and Spence on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Jimenez and Spence on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, on the go at ESPNSA.com. Mike Jimenez, Tim Spence with you till 3 o'clock tonight. The second round of the NFL draft, third round of the NFL draft. We get going at 5 o'clock tonight.
Hey, let me ask you real quick. I don't know what's going on, but who's the guy in the corner that's been sitting there for the entire draft over in the corner? That looks like Will Levis.
We had this conversation.
Sliding down the draft.
I texted you after Tennessee picked at number 11 and they passed on Will Levis. And I texted you, he should just go home now. He's not going to get picked the rest of the night.
It was painful. Nails on a chalkboard. You know, you feel so bad for the guy. But, you know, part of this is his fault. He knew that he shouldn't have been there. Then he starts leaking the fact that I'm going to be the first pick or the second pick. It's like, and people bid on it. Oh, you know, the wild card here, and all of a sudden, then he sets himself up for complete embarrassment.
I wouldn't go that far because everyone assumed he'd at least be drafted in the top 12, that he'd go somewhere in the top 12. That either the Houston Texans would take him, if not the Carolina Panthers. Maybe the Raiders would take him. Maybe the Colts would take him. There were so many teams in need of a quarterback. And this is a guy that Mel Kiper Jr., Todd McShay had in their top 5 of overall prospects. And he slides down, goes to the green room, one of 17 players invited, sitting there with 3 honeys. I don't know which one's his girlfriend.
You could tell his mother, but the other 2 were like, I don't know if that's sister or girlfriend or wannabe.
But it was so... I don't want to laugh about it too much because it's sad. It's his dream come true to make it to the NFL.
You could see you could see he was seething though. I mean, he was just beside himself.
I thought he played it okay, a little bit okay. I mean, you knew he was pissed off,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Because it's hurtful. And at some point, you look at the teams that are ahead, going, "Well, Kansas City's not going to take me. Buffalo's not going to take me. Dallas isn't going to take me. Should I just go home at this point?"
Yep.
Because if I was him, I would have done that. I would have just gone home. The cameras would stop being pointed at me because, Justin Herbert is with the Chargers. They're not going to take him in LA. But man, last night was so much fun. Again, we're going to get going again today. The Blitz going from 3 to 5 because our coverage begins today at 5 o'clock. Second and third round. You can also listen to San Antonio Sports Star tomorrow for rounds 4 through 7. Fireworks, though, got off early when the Houston Texans pulled off a trade. Who are they going to take at number 2? That was the big question. Who are they going to take at number 2? And then all of a sudden, you hear the name C.J. Stroud. The one guy that a lot of people, a lot of mock drafts believe would slide down to maybe the teens or at least the 7-8 range. He got taken at number 2. I was like, okay, well, I guess they're not going after defense after all. And then they pull the trade with the Arizona Cardinals to get back in to number 3.
I think, excuse me, I think some of the information has leaked out different directions. So at one point, they're going either Bryce Young or CJ Stroud. And then all of a sudden the meter turns and it's all of a sudden a defense. And the Texans played it perfectly. They own this draft, at least the first round, for how they played it. And all the options are in front of them. So they, right before they picked, Greeny, ESPN in general, were talking about the fact that we're hearing now is going back towards an offensive decision. So they come out with CJ and everyone's, got the high fives and everything's great. And then they pull the rabbit right out of the hat.
Exactly. Going from 12 up to number 3. They gave up some draft capital, but it's okay.
It's okay.
It wasn't their capital that they sent. They sent Cleveland's draft capital because, again, that's part of the Deshaun Watson trade. So the Texans have no picks in the 3rd round, but if I'm not mistaken, they've got 2 in the 4th, 2 in the 7th. They have too much draft capital. The Houston Texans, though, are going to be an exciting team to watch. Maybe not this year, but years to come as they develop. They're building a foundation. The whole D'Amico Ryans, Nick Caserio combination.
Did you see
starting to work?
Did you see the shot of them in the war room?
Oh, hugging?
Oh, D'Amico Ryans is already a well-built young man. His chest was so far out, it wasn't even funny.
Yeah.
He was feeling it.
Oh, my goodness. And he was pumping his chest and everything. And then the other big question of the night was Bijan Robinson. Where would he go? No way in the world he's going to go in the top 10, right? Because nobody drafts a running back anymore top 10. Atlanta Falcons come calling at number 8, taking him away from the Eagles, who reportedly had big-time interest in taking Bijan.
But let's get to the elephant in the room. Okay, Bijan is with Atlanta
Falcons.
now.
Yeah,
right. So it's anticlimactic. The air is out of the balloon. There's a big pin in it, and the Falcons are taking it. And good luck to Bijan, and to an extent, good luck to the Falcons based on his play. Now the elephant, the Eagles. They trade up one position. That's it.
To get the guy that was, for many people, the number 1 overall prospect in the draft, Jalen Carter out of Georgia. Why did he slide all the way to number 9? He slid to 9 because of that car accident, that street race that happened in January that killed one of his teammates there at Georgia, that also killed a female staffer. This was somebody that a lot of people say talent-wise is the number 1 overall pick in the draft, but he slid down. And then at number 30, I'm looking at my wife and I said, I don't need to hear the pundits. I don't need to hear McShay or Greeny or Adam Schefter. I looked at my wife and I said, Nolan Smith is going to be the name called here at 30. Nolan Smith. So the jokes coming out today that the Eagles are going to change their name from the Eagles to the Bulldogs, because basically Georgia is now their pipeline for defensive talent.
I mean, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 over the last 2 drafts.
3 of them first rounders
are sitting in the Eagles locker room.
Later in the show, we're going to hear from Micah Parsons and his reaction to what the Eagles are doing, because Micah Parsons was on the Bleacher Report's telecast, if you will. And my goodness, he was beside himself. So we're going to hear a lot from Micah Parsons today. But again, big show. If you want to be part of it, Kielbasa Smoke Meats phone line, 656-ESPN, 656-3776. Kind of thought it was interesting that Anthony Richardson was drafted ahead of Will Levis. Anthony Richardson taken early, Indianapolis Colts.
Well, okay. And the speculation is that they're going to let him mature. Okay. Well, let's see how long that pressure goes before, the masses are demanding that he play because of just the mediocrity on the field. So we'll see. But, I think the specimen of who he is and what he athletically, I think the skills of quarterback still need to be developed and matured. But how long will he still be on the sidelines before they throw him to the Wolves? I think it's a short-lived life on the sidelines.
Yeah, no wide receivers taken until number 20, and then there was a run on receivers. And it was like, oh, here we go. Because I was thinking once things were turning around, once the 19th pick was taken and we're going into the 20s, Cowboys sitting there at 26, I thought to myself, wow, both the stud tight ends are there. All 3 of the stud wide receivers are there. And I'm thinking to myself, Cowboys might actually get a top 15, top 20 type talent at 26.
They could have gone. They could have gone up and got one of those.
So many different directions.
They could have gone up there and got one of those. I mean, 4 in a row, 20, 21, 22, 23. They're 3 spots away from moving up. They could have gone up and got one if they didn't think they needed one. And we've argued this point, ad nauseum. Some people believe they do. Some people believe they don't.
Right.
They went where they thought they needed the most help, and that's the defensive line.
Now, there are some teams that a lot of people consider have taken reaches out there. Jahmyr Gibbs was taken by the Detroit Lions at number 12. The Lions moving up, or actually moving up to get that spot because
where the hell did he come from?
Exactly. Jahmyr Gibbs was somebody that a lot of people thought would go early second round.
He's a good running back.
Late first round talent, maybe late first round. Okay. But for two running backs to be taken in the top 12 in the year 2023, very, very bizarre. We mentioned that run at wide receivers, Seattle getting Jackson Smith in Jigba. That was a big deal because now they've got Tyler Lockett, they've got DK Metcalf, and they've got this prize rookie. So now Geno Smith has a lot of targets to throw to. Seattle might be a team to be looking at right now.
See, I think if you look back, we're on receivers now. Okay. So in Jigba, okay, maybe that's too much for the 20th pick. Johnston, TCU, around the corner. But the one that I think they could have used is Zay Flowers.
Right.
That man can run like the wind.
Oh, arguably the best of the wide receiver prospects.
And he went the third wide receiver.
Exactly.
I mean, he is as fast as anybody. Who they compared him to on ESPN?
Oh, they've compared him to a lot. I mean, a lot of speedy receivers, Marvin Harrison being one. And I love a guy like that.
I forget who they compared him to, but it was just absolutely lightning in a bottle.
So pick 25 is rolling around, and all of the tight ends are on the board. And all the mock drafts had suggested that the Dallas Cowboys would take a tight end. All of a sudden, you see the Buffalo Bills jump up and trade into that 25 spot to take Dalton Kincaid, the tight end from Utah. I was like, okay, well, at least the Cowboys have Michael Mayer from Notre Dame that they can go for. And I thought for myself, Michael Mayer is going to be the guy. But instead, the Cowboys went defensive line with Mazi Smith. And I want to get into this conversation, and Cowboy fans, reach out to us. What do you think about this pick? 656 ESPN, Kielbasa Smoke Meats phone line, 656 ESPN. You can also tweet at us. I'm at Twitter at MikeESPNSA. Spence is at Spence ESPNSA. Up next, the Cowboys skipped on a tight end, but they beefed up the defensive line instead. Let's talk about the newest Dallas Cowboy, Mazi Smith, on Jimenez and Spence, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Slacker Sports and Arcade Bar presents the NFL Draft on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Pick is in. Let's go to the commissioner.
The Dallas Cowboys select. This is going to be a fun player to watch.
All day today, join 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star for this year's NFL Draft, live from Kansas City. Who do the Cowboys and Texans pick? Does Jerry make a splash? Who goes number one? And who's the next Mr. Irrelevant? Find out right here tonight at 5. Presented by Slacker Sports and Arcade Bar and your exclusive home for the Cowboys. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Twin Peaks is in pursuit of brews and barrel-aged bourbon. That's every Friday. Join Twin Peaks at the Bourbon and Brews Party. Get to Twin Peaks from 5 to 7 every Friday to experience a lingerie costume party paired with exceptional bourbons, tastings, and giveaways. Visit any one of the 4 area Twin Peaks locations right now and head over Fridays for the Bourbon and Brews Party. You don't want to miss it. That's Twin Peaks. The eats are spectacular. The drinks, well, we know they're icy cold, but why do we go? It's those scenic views.
Hormones can affect everything. Bad skin, bad hair, low energy, poor sleep, brain fogginess, libido, and weight gain. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health, and we take a functional approach to your hormone problems. Eating right and exercise will not be beneficial without optimal hormone function. This goes for men and women. We do state-of-the-art testing to get to the root of your hormone issues and help you get well and stay well. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health. We can help. 210-468-1891.
Guys, your testosterone level impacts your energy, drive, weight, hair loss, and even ED. Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your T level for free. For your free T level check, exam, and consultation, call 210-615-7777 or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Train heating and cooling systems are tested, retested, engineered, and re-engineered to keep up with you. We run together. Visit traininfo.com to find your local independent train dealer. Traininfo.com. It's hard to stop a train.
Gold. If you've been thinking of how to secure the value of your assets and grow your wealth, think gold. Think Noble Gold. Hi, Jason Minix here for NobleGoldInvestments.com. After the latest bank failures and other economic news that could devalue the dollar, gold is a safe investment to secure your wealth. And if you're not sure what to do, that's not a problem. Go to NobleGoldInvestments.com. They'll walk you through everything. They will email you their gold and silver investors guide. Do this. Go look at the price of gold in 1970 up until today. It was about $35 an ounce, and the long-term trend will blow you away. A lot of folks wish they would have bought back then in an IRA or even physical gold. Don't wish you did this down the road. Take the time to go to the website today. Go to NobleGoldInvestments.com. You're welcome to use promo code STAR for a free 5-ounce America the Beautiful coin they're offering people that qualify. NobleGoldInvestments.com. Mark it down to do today. NobleGoldInvestments.com.
Tonight, it's the NFL Draft on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Coverage begins at 5.
Mazi, man, listen. Yo, welcome to the team. You somehow wanted to be a part of this organization. I love the way you play. I just hope you're ready to be a part of the best D-line in the NFL. I'm going to help you get sacks. You're going to help me get sacks. Let's start together and get this Super Bowl and get paid, man.
You happy?
I'm super happy.
Micah Parsons right there of the Dallas Cowboys, giving a message to his new teammate, Mazi Smith, first-round draft pick from Michigan, all-pro defensive tackle. The guy is said to be a beefy guy to clog up running lanes.
You're not going to move him. Bring a plow. If the Eagles think that they're going to get to the goal line and do the snow plow, if you will, with everyone stacked up behind each other, this is the guy you want on the defensive line to stop it, because one guy, maybe even two guys, can't move him.
6'3", 323 pounds. ESPN Analytics describes Mazi Smith as, quote, an outstanding run defender with the ability to clog the middle, violent hands with short area quickness. However, he lacks closing speed as a pass rusher, so he might not be the guy going after the quarterback. He's the guy freeing up Micah Parsons so that Parsons can go get the quarterback.
Well, that means that I think Parsons still going to be doubled if that sequence is in question, because if they're trying to move him out of the middle, they might have to double up on him, so it frees him up a little bit. But my guess is his area will be locked down. Don't worry about anything except protecting your area, and we'll take care of the rest on the defensive line.
This was a smart pick. We've been talking about it for the past 2 or 3 weeks. Do you do best player available, or do you go for need? They went for need. That's basically it. Now, was Mazi Smith the best player available? Maybe, maybe not. But on the defensive side of the ball, for what they were trying to do on the defensive line, you can make that argument there. But what I found funny was that Micah Parsons was on the Bleacher Report's telecast, and he's there watching the draft with those guys. And the reaction.
Oh, yeah. He had a couple of reactions.
Yes. The reaction that we got from Micah Parsons when they called Mazi's name was pretty priceless.
The Dallas Cowboys select Mazi Smith.
Let's go, man! Let's go! Dan New! Yo, look at the text, man. I told you Dan wouldn't let me down, man. Dan wouldn't let me down.
Read the text. What does it say? You want me to read it? Michigan DT, you texted him today at 3:27, and he responded, I'm all about that life, with 6 exclamation points. And then you wrote, please.
We about that life!
How do you feel, Mr. Micah Parsons?
No more QB sneak, AJ!
Wow.
Yo, huge.
He also had some other choice words when the Eagles.
Yes, and we'll get into that later on in the hour. But, man, he was excited there because you can see Mazi Smith was apparently one of the guys invited to Dallas to check out the facility. Obviously, Micah Parsons had his number, was texting at him. What do you think, Cowboy fans? Was this a good pick or not? Kilbasa, Smoke Meats phone line, 656-ESPN, 656-3776. We got Ryan on line 1. What's going on, Ryan?
First of all, love the show. Awesome pick. I'm excited for it. I am actually kind of glad we got him, and to kind of help free up Parsons, and then also, I'm just happy that Bijan didn't go to Philly.
Well, I think we all are happy about that.
Well,
unfortunately,
they made up for it.
Yeah, they came back in a strong way. But thanks for the call.
Hey, Ryan, thanks for the call. I think a lot of Cowboy fans realize that this was not a sexy pick. This was a pick that was just simply needed to help Micah Parsons out. What we saw last season with Micah was, yes, he was one of the best defenders in all of the NFL. But the problem was that he was used so often and very rarely off the field, and they asked so much from him that he ran out of gas towards the end of the year.
Yeah, it definitely was a load management issue.
So this is it. This is, you can have a Mazi Smith come in and kind of either spell Micah Parsons or take some of the pressure off of him.
Why would he not start?
Well, no, he's going to start. But basically what he will do is that they'll have to pay attention to him. The offensive line will have to pay attention to Mazi as opposed to focusing so heavily on Micah. So Micah might not have as many double or triple teams anymore. It might make it a little bit easier to reserve energy, if you will, for Micah Parsons. But good pick.
I'm fine with it.
It's not a sexy pick, but again, they say it all the time. Defense wins championships, but they also say that the games are won in the trenches, and you got a big guy in that trench.
When are we going to get to the Eagles? You keep teasing
me.
You keep teasing
me. It'll be next segment.
All right.
Let's hear from Jerry Jones, because Jerry Jones said that this whole decision to take Mazi Smith literally came down to the last second.
Well, we had to turn down right before we picked, after having the discussions regarding the player and just going over, so we took all the time. And the main reason was that for the full time we were talking, we had a trade that we could take, might have taken, hanging with a couple of rebuttals to that as we were getting. So as we made this pick, we had trades in works.
I believe him when he says that. Okay, sometimes I don't believe what Jerry says.
All the trades are in that happened in front of him. Why would there not be a trade here?
Exactly. So going to the very last minute to figure out who they're going to take. Are we going to take him? Yes or no? We're going to move back? Can't move up anymore. Are we going to move back or stay where we are? And when it came down to it, the Dallas Cowboys decided, you know what? Let's stay at 26. Get Mazi Smith. This is a guy that, again, clogs the inside, 6'3", over 320. The guy is a brick wall back there. Stephen Jones, very, very happy with the pick, because he says the defensive line really needed help beefing up.
Right, or not a bunch, 2 or 3 guys that were rated the same. And so we had a really good debate over who was the best guy for us. And, mainly between big men, but Mazi obviously brings, an element to our run game, stopping the run that, other than Hankins, we don't have. So we just felt like a great fit for us, and, really did something that, makes us a better defense at the end of the day.
Stephen Jones making reference to the fact that they don't have much when it comes to that defensive line to stop the run. That was the bugaboo for the Cowboys last year.
We've said this the whole time.
That's why it was smart. It was smart.
Yes.
It's not sexy. It's not something that you're going to look at and think to yourself, oh my God, that's so exciting. But it's a building block. Had they gone offensive line, you could have also made that same argument. The thing is that if they went offensive line, that guy probably wouldn't have been a starter. Mazi Smith will be starting week 1. Bank on it.
Well, I think he's going to be a nose tackle.
Yeah.
I mean, right in the middle.
And as Parsons said, no more Jalen Hurts sneaks anymore. You need somebody to stop something like that. Yeah. Now, Mazi Smith does come with a little bit of a background issue. He was arrested in October of last year for speeding.
Convicted?
Had a gun that was found in his possession.
Convicted?
Not convicted. State of Michigan requires.
So why are we worried?
I'm just.
Why are we talking about it?
I'm just saying.
Why are we worried? Come on.
This gets me excited. Because,
why are we worried?
Because it reminds me of 1990s Cowboys, where they had guys that were always in trouble with the law. But Mazi Smith, again, arrested last October. Gun found in his possession. The state of Michigan requires a concealed pistol license, which is not required in Texas. He was charged with a felony initially, But ultimately, back in December, those charges were dropped. He pleaded guilty to a lesser charge.
So why are we concerned?
There is
why are we worried?
As a lot of Cowboy fans mentioned to me on Twitter last night, we don't need licenses in Texas. He'll be perfectly fine here.
I mean, why are we all worked up about just,
was he convicted? Actually, he was. He pleaded guilty to something else.
What?
So, yes.
I'm sure it was was it a misdemeanor like everything else these players are dealing with? I'm sure it was some weak misdemeanor in the state of, Michigan. And, hey, who cares? That was in the North. This is the South. Come on. He is rebuilding his reputation, and we are here to help him rebuild it.
You're going to be all over me this year because, Brandon, we're going to go from NFL mock drafts to NBA mock drafts because the lottery's in a couple of weeks. And, dude, I'm going to be insufferable.
All right. But he got in trouble. But, hey, listen, he didn't go, he might have pled guilty to some, weak attempt at.
But did anybody die? That's what you're saying. That's what you're saying.
I didn't go there.
That's what you're insinuating.
But, hey, listen, since you went there, did anybody die?
No. We're streaming live on YouTube right now. Had a little bit of a glitch earlier in the show, but we are streaming live right now.
No glitches. You just had to get your camera focused a little bit better.
That's right. Subscribe to San Antonio Sports Star, by the way. You can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Mike ESPNSA. Spence is at Spence ESPNSA. This show is being produced by Edwin Hafner. James Pledger is in Kansas City. The video, by the way, of him getting excited about the Houston Texans taking CJ Stroud. Someone was videotaping him while the announcement was being made. We cannot play it because language, but let's just say that he was excited that the Texans got CJ Stroud.
If he was excited for that, and he literally, I think, went 3 to 5 feet off the ground, okay, what do you think happened when they traded up and to the third pick?
Exactly.
I mean,
he probably grabbed a woman and just gave her a kiss on the lips.
It's like World War II's over with. Honey, come here.
That's exactly what I was thinking of. Get out of my head there, Spence. But up next, we've heard from Micah Parsons already. He was super excited that Mazi Smith joined the team, but then a few minutes later got pissed off because of those Philadelphia Eagles. We're going to hear what Micah Parsons has to say about that Eagles defense. Jimenez and Spence returns on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
With the 26th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Mazi Smith, defensive tackle, Michigan.
That's right, Mazi Smith, newest Cowboy. The Texans, they stole the draft. CJ Stroud and pick up linebacker Will Anderson. Rounds 2 and 3 tonight on ESPN 1250 or right here, 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Sports Center is brought to you by Kielbasa Slow Crafted Sausage, available at your local grocery stores.
Moments like hearing my cat purr good morning mean a lot to me. But after being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that is spread to other parts of the body, they mean even more. I take Ibrance, palbociclib.
Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for adults with HR-positive, HER2-negative NBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative posts from an ex-employee or a former client? Maybe an outdated news article or sensitive personal information about your family? Search engines don't always get it right, but right or wrong, it's your reputation on the line. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. One of the most trusted names in online reputation repair, Reputation Defender has been fixing people's search results for over 15 years. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, helping you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. Take control with Reputation Defender. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 to speak to an expert. That's 800-401-6681.
Here at Total Wine & More, you'll find what you love and love what you find. I like this flavored gin, but want something? You'll love this one. Wow! Oh, you're good. Find what you love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More. Pickup and delivery available at TotalWine.com. Drink responsibly, B21.
The following is a message from the future, sent by Jamie from Progressive.
Back in 2023, you could get help from Progressive online, through our mobile app, or over the phone. But here, in the future, we can communicate with you through telepathy. Now, I don't think anyone in 2023 has mastered telepathy yet, but if you have, then you can totally read my thoughts right now. And yes, I did leave the oven on. Wow, you're good at this.
That was a message from the future. Get the help you need today with Progressive.
Do you smell smoke? I really should go.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers.
Finding great people to hire can be like trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Their powerful matching technology delivers so many qualified candidates, it's like finding a needle in a needle stack. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. For less hay and more needles, head to ZipRecruiter.
And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to start getting conversational in another language? In as little as 3 weeks, Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
Are you kidding me? Gas prices are up again? Somebody has to do something.
Well, someone did. That's why I use Upside.
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that pays you back real money for every gallon of gas or diesel you buy. I just earned 25 cents back on every gallon of this tank.
So the Upside app is free and you actually get cash back every time you use it? No strings attached?
Yep, it's awesome. Check it out. It only takes a couple of minutes to sign up.
Instead of just watching your dollars go into your tank, start putting money back into your wallet with the free app from Upside. With the price of gas today, it's big news and big money. To cash out of your Upside cash, just transfer it to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card. Upside users have already earned over $200 million. Now it's your turn. Download the free Upside app and get cash back on every gallon of gas. Use promo code ESPN10 for an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first fill up. That's code ESPN10. Use code ESPN10 for an extra 25 cents per gallon back in your first fill up. Cashback's not available in gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
It's showtime. It's Jimenez and Spence on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Jimenez and Spence on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, on the go at ESPNSA.com. Streaming live on YouTube right now. Subscribe to San Antonio Sports Star. Tonight we have the second and third round of the NFL Draft on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star at 5 o'clock today. Lots to get into today. Kilbasa Smoke Meats phone line, 656-ESPN, 656-3776. Spence, got to ask you a question. Should the Philadelphia Eagles change their name to the Philadelphia Bulldogs?
I have a bad feeling about this football season when it comes to the NFC East now. I mean, you could have taken Bijan and we would have been, crying from the highest yard arm. Okay.
Yeah.
You just got Jalen Carter. You fell into the mother load.
Nolan Smith on top of it at 30.
And Smith, if you watched him at all, is Micah Parsons all over again.
A little bit undersized,
but still,
he's mini Micah.
And an annoyance to any quarterback that's playing against him.
So now the Eagles have 4 defensive players that they've drafted out of Georgia in the last 2 drafts, 3 of them in the first round. That's why they're the Philadelphia Bulldogs. from here on out. You know, you have all those publications out there, whether it be ESPN or SI or Yahoo Sports, The Ringer, all of them, and they give their draft grades after day one. It is uniform across the board that the Philadelphia Eagles won last night's draft.
Well, I think they won it from what they did, but I come with a different perspective. If you could break that draft into first 15, the next 15, okay? The Texans, if they did not steal it, they own at least a share of it with the Eagles.
They do, but they had to move up to make it happen.
Oh, so what?
And don't get me wrong, the Eagles moved up from 10 to 9 to get Jalen Carter, but really they just, threw away a fourth rounder to make it happen.
Yeah, they back ass fell into it.
Exactly, but the 30 pick there, I mean, Nolan Smith just falling all the way down. Most of the mock drafts had Nolan going top 12, top 13 at the very least.
I mean,
he's there at 30. I was surprised the Cowboys didn't take him.
You just read my mind there. So we're sharing our thoughts, which is a scary sight in itself. But why didn't the Cowboys go down that path?
That's a very good point. Maybe it's like, well, have two Micahs at one time. Come on, that might be too much. The Cowboys did the right thing going defensive line, but you take a look at Nolan, you take a look at Jalen Carter, and it's just rebuilding on the fly. This is an Eagles defense that lost a few people, few starters, and they replaced them with these absolute studs from Georgia who already coached up already. They're not raw talents. These are guys plug and play day one.
Okay, well, but think about this for a second. Why couldn't the Cowboys pull the Texans? Okay, you're at 26. You take Mazi, okay?
Yeah.
But that Smith is still sitting there as a viable option.
You're not giving much up to go up.
We're not like moving 26 to 15, 26 to 10. We're now into the second round.
Yeah, give up a third rounder to move up.
Give it up a second round. Give up your second rounder. Maybe a second and a third.
Yeah, that's it right there.
For a starter like that.
Exactly. Nolan Smith falling all the way to 30 was the biggest steal in the draft last night. Biggest steal. And I knew it. I was watching the draft. I looked at my wife and I said, they're going to take Nolan Smith because that is what the Eagles do. Now, A.J. Brown of the Eagles was with Micah Parsons on the Bleacher Report telecast yesterday, podcast where they were just going over the draft. The video, the audio of these two going at each other, priceless. But let's just go ahead and say that when the Eagles drafted Jalen Carter at number 9, Micah Parsons said that he felt like walking off the stage because he was so angry. Let's hear what Micah Parsons had to say.
I'm just so sick to my stomach right now. Not only does he have veteran
next to Fletcher Cox,
well,
it's him and Jordan Davis for like the next 5 years.
That is just. Don't y'all just have N'Kobe Dean?
Oh yeah, we're just Georgia North.
I just think the Eagles like Georgia, but I'm just sick. I'm just sick to my stomach right now. I'm just sick to my stomach. I can't believe that many teams passed up on this.
Come here, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. Eagles.
I'm just truly just sick right now.
Micah Parsons saying he is sick to his stomach because of the power that the Eagles drafted in the first round.
Whatever they lost in free agency, that is a distant past. There's no one should be absolutely, even for a second, concerned that the Eagles aren't going to be in the NFC chase to the end this year.
They reloaded.
They
reloaded. And that is the scary part because I think the Cowboys had a good draft, but the team that they need to get over is the Eagles. And the Eagles had a wonderful draft last night. A perfect draft. They couldn't have scripted it better. If they went into this draft knowing that they would get Jalen Carter at 9 and they get Nolan Smith at 30, they would have said, no way in the world this would happen. But they backed into it. And these good teams just got better. Now, A.J. Brown, again, was with Micah Parsons on the Bleacher Report yesterday, watching the first round of the draft together. And A.J. Brown completely ragged on Micah Parsons about all the good talent the Eagles were getting.
You know what? Before we do the pick, let's go to A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown, hey, how you doing? Eagles fan Adam Lefko here. Jalen Carter is now your teammate, and people say he's the best player in the draft, and how he moved up to get him at 9. Your thoughts?
I would definitely say
Micah, I know you just be a Philadelphia Eagle at this point. I know you want to be a part of this great organization, man. Come on. He got Fletcher Cox, Hassan Reddick, Jordan Davis, to go along with. Man, the defense is crazy right now. And then the value of it. Hargrave, who just got $85 million. And now you're gonna pay someone for 20. You know, the value. I'm just so shocked. 8 teams let Jalen Carter fall to 9 for this.
Come on, man.
Come on, bro.
Just come on over.
How we talking for sure? How we talking? The value of that pick is crazy. You let Javon Hargrave, a 10-plex sack D tackle, go. You get signed for 85, and you get the value of 20. I mean, that's an A+ pick.
AJ, do it, man. Oh,
A++. A++.
Okay, what Micah Parsons said right there, AJ Brown ragging on Micah Parsons on BleacherReport.com. What Micah Parsons right there said was, the Eagles got weakened because Hargrave left, right? He went and signed a free agent contract elsewhere. This was a guy that got paid $85 million elsewhere. And oh my God, you got Jalen Carter in the draft at number 9, arguably the best defensive player in the entire draft at number 9, and you're only going to have to pay him $20 million. That you got the same amount of productivity, maybe even better productivity at that spot, and you're paying $65 million less over the next 4 or 5 years. Micah Parsons absolutely amazed by all this.
Okay, so let me ask you. Because you look back and you say to yourself, okay, how did he slide to 9 or slide and then moved up from 10 to 9? How did he slide though to 9? How in the world the Raiders, nothing against Tyree Wilson, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Big guy, wide reach, I get it. But you're letting Jalen Carter pass. Tyree Wilson is a project to an extent. He is good, but he's no Jalen Carter. How does that happen?
Well, not only that, the Houston Texans also passed on him as well. So that's an interesting thing as well, because Will Anderson, a lot of people say he could be the next Von Miller, but they're saying that he's still a project, that he'll start, don't get me wrong, and maybe his ceiling, his upside potential is Von Miller, but he ain't there yet.
Yeah, but
Jalen Carter, day one, is going to be wrecking the NFL.
I don't think the Texans, I mean, you just have so many players, so many opportunities to move up. I mean, they got the 2 guys that they wanted. Do I see why the Seahawks went with cornerback Devon Witherspoon? Dude, he is the real deal.
Mm-hmm.
Could I see why?
And you have him with UTSA's Rick Woolen.
Do I see why the Cardinals went with Paris Johnson to help the offensive line for an offensive tackle? Sure, I got it. But how in the world you pass on Jalen Carter at 7? It's just mind-boggler.
And the foresight of the Eagles to go, I know it's just one spot, and we're giving up a 4th rounder, but it guarantees that he's ours.
Yes. And here's the other thing. Why the Bears move down 1? I mean, okay, they're going offensive tackle the next pick.
And they went Darnell Wright as opposed to Peter Skoronski.
Okay, you need some offensive line help. I get it. But a generational player of Jalen Carter and you move out of, I mean, that is something.
And you would think, going down further in the draft, that the Green Bay Packers might give Jordan Love some help in the offense. But just like Aaron Rodgers, they decided, nah, we're not going to get you any help. We're going defense, baby. God, the Packers never change at all. But when we come back, let's talk a little bit more about the draft. Bijan Robinson, my goodness, is now an Atlanta Falcon. The right thing, the wrong thing. We'll talk about it. Jimenez and Spence, 94.1, San Antonio Sports Star.
Slacker Sports and Arcade Bar presents the NFL Draft on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Pick is in. Let's go to the commissioner.
The Dallas Cowboys select.
This is going to be a fun player to watch.
All day today, join 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star for this year's NFL Draft. Live from Kansas City. Who Do the Cowboys and Texans pick? Does Jerry make a splash? Who goes number 1? And who's the next Mr. Irrelevant? Find out right here tonight at 5. Presented by Slackers Sports and Arcade Bar and your exclusive home for the Cowboys. 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
For adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy, now there's Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months, and Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Nothing in me go hand in hand. Nothing on my skin, that's my new plan. Nothing is every day.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, you could achieve 90% clearer skin. Ask your doctor about the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. The IRS just rolled out a new program to help struggling taxpayers more easily resolve their tax problems. It's called the Taxpayer Relief Initiative, and it opens up powerful new options for people looking to get back on the right track with the IRS. And no one knows this program like the professionals at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution company. They've resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients and have the expertise and experience to help you. One easy call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries of wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Make today the beginning of your fresh start with the IRS. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief now for your free confidential consultation.
Call 800-721-3955. 800-721-3955. 800-721-3955.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Soft water equals soft skin. Hard water, hard skin. And hard, dry, cracked skin is torture. If your skin feels like this, that's hard water. A water softener isn't a luxury, it's a necessity, and it feels so good. A Kinetico water softener will give you that ultra soft skin. Your hair will be silky smooth, fixtures will sparkle, cleaner laundry, and 24 hours pure soft water. So many homeowners all over San Antonio and the Hill Country enjoy the benefits of Kinetico soft water, and you can too. A Kinetico is 80% more efficient than other models, uses no electricity, and has fewer moving parts than other brands, and no computer to worry about. Call Chris Knippa with Kinetico Quality Water Softeners, Kinetico. Make your skin go from to 656 Pure, 656 Pure, or online at KineticoSA.com.
The last water softener you'll ever own. Call 656 Pure Kinetico.
Guys, your testosterone level impacts your energy, drive, weight, hair loss, and even ED. Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your T level for free. For your free T level check, exam, and consultation, call 210-615-7777 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
It's Michael Jimenez with Jimenez and Spence, weekdays 12 to 3. People ask all the time, how can we become part of the San Antonio Sports Star family? Well, if you have a business, reach out to us for sponsorship opportunities. You can advertise with San Antonio Sports Star with all of our talent here. Reach out to Morgan Harrison at morgan.harrison@alphamediausa.com. After that, she will get you in touch with one of our professional sales reps and get you going. Again, reach out to Morgan Harrison at morgan.harrison@alphamediausa.com.
Are you a fan of Twin Peaks? Sign up for the E-Club to stay up to date on all things Twin Peaks and score free stuff. Signing up is easy. Just visit TwinPeaksRestaurant.com and get started right now. Twin Peaks eats, drinks, and those scenic views.
Aggies basketball is on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
With the 8th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Bijan Robinson, running back, Texans.
Broke my heart last night. Bijan Robinson is now an Atlanta Falcon. Welcome back to Jimenez and Spence on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Well, at least we can root for the Falcons, can't we?
No, we can't, because that's in the division of my favorite team, the New Orleans Saints.
You're going to root for the Falcons because anything that has a Texas connection, you always have a little heart for.
No, just like how Cowboy fans say that they can't cheer for somebody who plays for the Eagles. Saints fan cannot cheer for somebody who plays for the Falcons. I hope his career is trash at this point. Sorry, the Bijan love has flowed out of me.
What are you? I mean,
it is
what
out of me
planet
now.
are you on?
Bijan Robinson. It's a weird pick, man, for the Falcons.
Yeah, but stop there. Forget the pick because you just are flip-flopping on me mid-sentence. Remember when the Cowboys went down and played the Buccaneers in the playoffs?
Yeah.
And what were your thoughts? I am scared of Tom Brady. Tom Brady's going to win this game, even though you picked the Cowboys at the end, the very end. You were all in on Tom Brady.
But I was right.
All in on Tom Brady.
My heart comes out first, but then ultimately my mind takes over.
All
My brain
Tom
comes
Brady.
in.
I can't
comes
believe
into play.
you can't even throw Bijan a bone. I mean,
no, Bijan's dead to me. Bijan is dead to me now. I cheered for him at UT, but he was with the rival team, the Atlanta Falcons. My favorite team's the New Orleans Saints. He is dead to me. I don't wish bad things to happen to him. Okay. Like when I say Kawhi Leonard, I don't care about Kawhi's MCLs, ACLs, or knees. But when it comes to Bijan Robinson, I hope he fails now. Hope he fails.
Wow. You are a harsh man, Mike Jimenez.
Harsh. That's how sports fandom works.
That's not how sports fandom
works. Yes, it does. Well, I want him to do well. I want the Falcons to go 12-5.
No, I didn't. You don't want Falcons 12-5, but you want him to succeed.
No, I don't. Not anymore.
There's
because
not,
if he succeeds,
there's not one person in Austin, state of Texas, that are Bijan Robinson fans that don't want to see him succeed, except one person.
Now, Cowboy fans can still cheer on for Bijan, even though same conference and everything. But that's like a far off division that doesn't go into effect.
You're
really
the only one
playoffs.
that has kicked him to the official curb.
Yeah, he's dead to me. Bijan, you were dead to me. But this is a weird team because this is the team that already had a decent young running back in Tyler Algier. Had over 1,000 yards rushing last year. They have young talent on the offensive side. Drake London as wide receiver, Kyle Pitts at tight end. Now, when it comes to quarterback, Desmond Ritter's now QB1. This is a very young team that might catch lightning in the bottle at some point. My question is, what kind of stats can we expect from Bijan Robinson out of this Atlanta team in year one? Like, what's the over-under that we're setting personally when it comes to yards for the season? I'm going to set the over-under at 900.
That's it?
Yeah. Well, and it's not because he's a bad player. It's because there's other people who get the ball. Patterson gets the ball. You've got Algier who gets the ball. They're not going to use Bijan like Derrick Henry, where he's getting 25, 30 carries a game. They're not going to use him that way.
Why would they not?
Because they can use him in different positions, just like the Cowboys had said in the past. They could use him as a slot receiver.
Okay, well, then let's talk about all-purpose yards.
Okay, that's a very good question. All-purpose yards. I'm going to say 1150.
So only 200 more yards out of the backfield.
1150, cap out at 1,200, which is still a good season. That's still enough to get him Offensive Rookie of the Year. 300
yards as a slot receiver at the very least, and
900 rushing, 300 receiving. Let's go. I'll up it at 1,200. Be a nice guy. That's 75 yards a game.
That's pretty.
And it has nothing to do
you
with
really
him.
have kicked him to the curb, haven't you?
Well, no. I mean, here's the thing. Desmond Ridder is the quarterback. How good is that guy going to be?
I would give Bijan the ball. You are going to take us to the playoffs.
If I was a defense, 8 in the box, have Desmond Ridder prove that he can throw the ball.
That doesn't. They push all their chips in.
They did
on Bijan.
They did.
Okay, so if that's the case, I don't know what their offensive line's like, but if they need help on offensive line to move that line to open holes for them, that's where they're going for the next 2 or 3 picks.
We talk about the fact to be successful in the NFL, you need a good quarterback. So we have to believe, if you are a Falcons fan, that Desmond Ridder is that guy. I don't think he is. So because I don't think they have a quarterback, I don't think he'll do as well. Now, if he was playing with other teams, if he played with the Eagles, for crying out loud, he probably would have rushed for 1,300 yards. He probably, if he had played for the Lions, he would have done that too.
I can't get the ball in his hands enough. If I'm a Falcons quarterback, Falcons coach, if I'm a Falcons fan, I cannot give him the ball enough.
Getting him the ball enough is not enough, man. It is just
so 900
8 in the box the entire time.
That's pretty deflating. I would say, I was going to say 1,100 on the ground. Put another 400 through the air, out of the backfield, because he can break people's ankles. I could see him going 15.
Desmond Ridder is the QB1 for the Atlanta Falcons, second-year quarterback out of Cincinnati. Played a couple of games last year. I mean, showed some flashes, but again, it's a young quarterback, man. So it's kind of hard for me to think that Bijan Robinson is going to thrive in that team. Part of being a very, very good player is landing in the right spot. And I don't think Bijan landed at the right team. Now, don't get me wrong, I understand why the Falcons took him. One of my good friends, Steve, huge Falcons fan, was super excited about it last night. But was it the best thing for that team? Not necessarily sure about that, but hey, they got a weapon and they got a star. Now, speaking of stars, those Houston Texans, man, I'm so proud of them. That is some big boy talk that they did yesterday. Some big boy moves, making their way up, picking at number 2, sticking with CJ Stroud, then trading at their 12th pick to go up to number 3. Absolutely ridiculous. Kielbasa Smoke Meats phone line, 656-ESPN, 656-3776. Someone just texted us saying, question for Mike Jimenez. Mark Ingram isn't playing for New Orleans next season. Would you be upset if he were to play backup to Tony Pollard in Dallas? That's a very, very good question. I wouldn't get mad about it. In fact, Mark Ingram is a very, very good running back. Ingram isn't going to be the guy that you want to have 20 carries, but that's Pollard's job now, provided that Pollard comes back from injury, broke his leg, high ankle sprain, comes back from injury. It's going to be Tony Pollard's backfield. But Mark Ingram is that one guy, very similar to Zeke Elliott, that just gets the ball going when it's 3rd and 1, gets you that first down, gets you that touchdown from 2 yards out. That would not be a bad idea.
Let me shift gears on you a little bit. Let's go back to the Falcons. I think this is something you should, if this hits, I'm going to Vegas. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Bijan. Who's the quarterback for the Falcons? Out of Cincinnati. What's his name?
Desmond Ridder.
Okay. Not really big time, big name. What do you think the chances are Falcons move up and take Will Levis?
Ooh. Well, they drafted Desmond pretty high last year.
Okay.
So I don't think they'll do it. But if it's
you want to own the second round?
If it's sitting there.
If you want to, I mean, the second round, Steelers are first. They're not taking a quarterback. Cardinals are the second pick. Lions, Colts, Rams.
You might be onto something, because I thought that Desmond Ridder was a second round draft pick, but as Edwin is showing us, he was actually top of the 3rd round last year. Now, we have people reaching out to us on YouTube. Again, we're streaming live on YouTube. Tarek has a question, says, why Saints fandom? That's random as hell. It's not random as hell, because the Saints are the only team to play a real NFL game in the city of San Antonio, and I became a fan. Sorry. You know what? Cowboy fans hate it when I bring that up.
Why?
Texans fans hate it when I bring that up. The only team in the NFL to play a real game in San Antonio, not one where they were trying to sell you T-shirts and baseball caps. The only team to ever play in San Antonio, the New Orleans Saints, and I became a fan. Now, I was a Houston Oilers fan growing up, but the Oilers left me.
Whoever the 210 is that asked that question, thank you very much. We went down memory lane, and
well, it's true. It's true.
I know it's true. We've lived this conversation way too many times.
Jason Minix texted me yesterday. I texted him that I was excited that the Saints got Breesy as the pick at number 29. And he goes, does New Orleans even have a football team? And I said, yes, it's actually a team that's won a Super Bowl this century. So yes, we snipe at each other here at San Antonio Sports Star. Cowboy fan being Jason Minix. Joe Ryan Eagle is a Tennessee Titans fan. Rudy J is a Bears fan. I'm a Saints fan. Rob Thompson is a Cowboys fan. And we've got Spence, who has that dual loyalties with the Denver Broncos and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Thanks for the refresher. But
well, and then Pledger's a Texans fan. We're very well represented here.
Diversity is the centerpiece of our existence.
Edwin Hafner, though, big time Cowboy fan, but he's, if I'm not mistaken, 26 years old. So he's never had a Cowboys championship in his lifetime.
So let me ask you this, though, because the Saints here, when Katrina hit, they came to San Antonio.
Played 3 games here.
Okay. So they were here for 2 months.
About 2 months, yeah.
Okay. So if, let's see here, heaven forbid, something else, a hurricane comes in, the Houston Texans move to San Antonio for 6 months for the whole season. Are you a Texans fan all of a sudden?
No, because I already have my loyalties to the New Orleans Saints.
It's for 3 months. That's a loyalty.
Yeah. Yeah. I went to the games, got excited, went to all 3 games.
Take you to all the Texas games here.
Got excited. I got excited.
Yeah, anyone listening to this right now.
And Kyle Turley, by the way, of the Saints, formerly of the Saints, we got to meet in
enough of this.
Brady Road.
Okay.
He was like, dude, we wanted to come to San Antonio.
Oh, okay. Whatever. The point I'm trying to make is I guarantee you, anyone who's listening to this right now, if the Texans came here and played for 3 months at a day, not to mention even longer, Pledge would have turned you into a Texans fan. Well, I guess I am now a Texans fan, because that's how you roll, dude. It's 3 months, it's 3 days, it's whatever it is. You get on that bandwagon, and all of a sudden you're just off to the races. Just admit it.
Follow the money. Just
admit it.
Follow the money, because when I go to games and I post NFL games that I go to, am I at Jerry World? No. Am I at NRG Stadium? No. I'm at the Superdome, the Caesars Superdome.
Okay, how many times?
There in New Orleans. I've gone the last 3 years.
Okay, that you made a road trip. Takes you.
It's a 9-hour drive.
I'm gonna say 8 hours. Okay, 9-hour drive.
It's a 9-hour drive. Now, as far as the Houston Texans are concerned,
get time off for that?
Houston Texans, dude, I'm self-employed in everything that I do, baby. As far as being a Houston Texans fan, I cheered for them until Bill O'Brien became coach, because my God, that was the lamest coach I've ever seen in the NFL. Another 2 hours and a few minutes in Spence on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Guess what? We're talking about the draft. We're talking about Will Levis. How far will he slide? Jimenez and Spence, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
This is Jimenez and Spence. Jimenez and Spence. KTFM, Floresville. And always at ESPNSA.com. San Antonio's Sports Center.
The Texas Rangers have lost 4 straight games and are now tied with the Houston Astros atop the AL West. Rangers play the Yankees tonight. Astros take on the Phillies. Quarterback Lamar Jackson signed a long-term deal with the Baltimore Ravens. He's back 5 years, $260 million, $185 million guaranteed. And tonight, the second and third round of the NFL Draft. Listen here on 94.1 starting at 5 o'clock.
Mike Jimenez.
The San Antonio Spurs are the world champions.
Tim Spence.
Victory! Cowboys win!
It's showtime. It's Jimenez and Spence on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Kiss myself, I'm so pretty. Mike Jimenez here, Tim Spence. Till 3 o'clock. I got super excited because I nailed that headline read right there, Spence. What's going on, my man?
Maybe, stop. Because anyone who watches you on YouTube,
the YouTube stream,
would be able to sit there and say, okay, he nailed it. Let's move on. But then there's the nail it. And then there's the jump back, kiss myself, big smiles, high five to yourself, pats on the back. Then you look at me for a reaction, and I'm just like stunned.
You've done radio with me now for 4 months. What do you expect at this point?
It has been the longest 4 months.
NFL Draft, again, rounds 2 and 3 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Gets going a little bit early today. The Blitz is only going from 3 to 5. There are some rumblings around the station right now that Mazi Smith, first-round draft pick of the Dallas Cowboys, will be on sometime in the 3 o'clock hour. Excited about that.
Yes. And we're going to go right to the top. We're going to talk with one of the big VPs of the Cowboys with the Blitz too.
Very nice. Very nice. Now, again, the draft going on tonight, second and third round. You can hear it on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star beginning at 5 o'clock. Tomorrow, we will also air beginning at 11 o'clock, rounds 4 through 7, all the way to Mr. Irrelevant. San Antonio Sports Star is your home for the NFL Draft. Last night, though, watching the draft at home, and my wife watched pretty much 2/3 of it with me. Don't know why. I do know why. She loves me and wants to spend time with me, but she gets annoyed sometimes because she knows nothing about the NFL. So she's watching the draft from a different viewpoint, from a non-sports fan viewpoint. And every time somebody would get picked, she would get drawn into those 2-minute packages, those 2-minute stories that ESPN would run about the player, their background. She was critiquing their outfits, their haircuts. She was critiquing the Love Fest. Oh my God, Spence, the Love Fest with Commissioner Roger Goodell when they'd go in there for the shake. I mean, Goodell was lifted off the ground one time. She had her favorite players, and she had the ones that she hated. Bryce Young, she got concerned about. She was like, I don't think he likes his dad because he called out his dad for being too rough on him growing up in that little mini package. And also when he was interviewed, she loves CJ Stroud's attitude. She goes, man, that guy, CJ Stroud, whoever he is, I like the way that he goes about being himself. So she likes CJ Stroud. Will Levis, when he was sliding down, and again, Will Levis wasn't even drafted last night, left at the altar in the green room yesterday. He was like, I don't like that guy's vibe. And then all the women around him, which I'm assuming is like mom, girlfriend, wife, or whatnot, but it was just a little bit too much for her. So she got concerned about that. Lucas Van Ness got drafted out of Iowa. And my wife looked at me and goes, douche canoe.
What?
She was like, that guy looks like a complete jackass. Has just an awful vibe about himself. And then later on in the night, when the New Orleans Saints picked Brian Breesy out of Clemson, and ESPN ran the story about the fact that he dedicates the season to his sister because his sister passed away from cancer earlier in the year. And that whole story was just riveting. She was like, I want to cheer for that guy. And I said, well, good thing, babe. He plays for the Saints, so we can cheer for that guy.
Oh my gosh, another Saints story. Where to go hide?
It is what it is, baby. Is what it is. But I loved it. I loved every moment of the draft last night.
There was not one moment. There was a little lull after we got past the Eagles at 9. Okay?
Because there were teams that no one cares about between 11 through 18.
Right. And it's a little lull. And then all of a sudden you can feel the steam coming back up. What are the Cowboys going to do?
Mm-hmm.
And then, when the Eagles were at 30 again, it's like, that left the worst taste in my mouth.
Do you think Will Levis has another suit? Do you think he goes back? Does he wear the same clothes? Does he go to 24-hour dry cleaners?
He obviously has been there more than just last night. So he has probably 3 or 4 suits, and he'll be fine. But I don't see him going past mid-second round.
It happens from time to time, especially when it comes to quarterbacks. Famously, Aaron Rodgers, nearly 2 decades ago, slid all the way down to the mid-20s. You had Johnny Manziel slide to the 20s as well. Aaron Rodgers, future Hall of Famer, Johnny Manziel. He's from the San Antonio area, but let's just go ahead and say that his career did not pan out the way that it was expected to be.
You think?
Geno Smith was another player that was in the green room. Slid all the way down to the second round. Still became a future Pro Bowler, has made a lot of money in the NFL, and years later is now expected to be, a long-standing starter there with the Seattle Seahawks.
Aaron Rodgers slid at 22.
Right.
So, they're talking about Will Levis sliding, and, everyone feels bad for him. But, on ESPN, they're talking about the fact that, look at all the quarterbacks that have slid, that have turned their careers into famous careers.
Right.
This is the moment.
Wasn't it Marino also back in the day?
I forget where Marino went, but he turned his career, whether it was he slid down or what, I'm not sure. But the quarterback, he's going to have a chip on. Will Levis is going to have a chip on his shoulder like no tomorrow. So he'll even be more aggressive to be successful, whatever it takes to be successful, so he can stick it to all these GMs who passed on him. I have no doubt he's going to be successful. I just feel bad for the guy, but I can't see him going past, mid-second round.
Dan Marino did slide in the draft all the way to number 27 in the same draft that had John Elway, Jim Kelly in it. So 6 quarterbacks drafted in that first round. Dan Marino being the last one at 27. Will Levis, though, tonight, why did he fall? And what happened to the guy on Reddit who said he was going number 1 overall?
Yeah. I mean, come on. If you saw him sitting on that couch, there are his mom, obviously, and then there's 2 other women. Do you know if he has a sister, or he's working both sides against the middle with his girlfriends?
Hey, I don't blame him. But my wife looks at him and goes, douche canoe. Just somebody who looks like he's a bad date. Like he treats women wrong.
Oh, wow. She went. Wow, she went scorched earth on him.
No, not like
treats women wrong.
Not like physically, but like somebody who, that guy's going to be unfaithful. That's basically what she was going at with it.
That's still pretty bad.
And by the way, there were like 12 other comments that I censored along the way, where she was just basically.
Do you get your wild takes from your wife? Because this sounds very reminiscent of some of your takes.
So what you're saying is I'm doing the takes, but I'm actually attributing them to my wife. Shining the spotlight on her instead.
And there's another way to look at it is the fact that you're throwing these takes out there now and blaming your wife. So when they come true, I said that back in the day. I said that, call it, bring out the tape, 2023, the day after the draft. I told you Will Levis was not going to be a good guy. No, you didn't. Your wife did. But you take credit for it. Oh, you're fine.
Again, the draft continues tonight at 5:00. You can hear it on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Up next, let's talk about James Pledger's favorite team, the Houston Texans. They've got their quarterback for the future. His name is CJ Stroud. Jimenez and Spence, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Slackers Sports and Arcade Bar presents the NFL Draft on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Pick is in. Let's go to the commissioner.
The Dallas Cowboys select.
This is going to be a fun player to watch.
All day today, join 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star for this year's NFL Draft, live from Kansas City. Who do the Cowboys and Texans pick? Does Jerry make a splash? Who goes number 1? And who's the next Mr. Irrelevant? Find out right here tonight at 5. Presented by Slackers Sports and Arcade Bar and your exclusive home for the Cowboys. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
QC Kinetics patient Diane Richardson saw her brother-in-law have surgery for pain in his elbow.
My brother-in-law, after that surgery, had his arm in a sling for almost 6 months, extensive PT, pain medication, a lot of restrictions of what he could not do.
So when Diane's husband, Greg, had a similar problem, she encouraged a different treatment, regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics. And the experience was like night and day compared to his brother.
After 6 months, nothing. He hasn't felt any pain, and that has been 2 years since he's had treatment.
Plus, no drugs and no downtime.
He was literally out golfing when he wanted to and doing whatever he wanted to. It was probably 9 months before my brother-in-law got back out on the golf course, and my husband was on the golf course the entire time. And he was so elated. He said, Diane, game changer.
Before you have surgery for that joint pain, get a second opinion. Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. 210-571-0318.
I was in a terrible accident with a commercial vehicle. I had to have surgery on my back. My life was turned upside down and I was completely screwed. Then I called the Fours, the Davis law firm. Jeff personally handled my case. After expenses and attorney fees, I received $397,988. It's really true. Jeff was here for me.
I'm Jeff Davis. If you were injured by a car or large truck, call me at my San Antonio office at 444-4444. That's 444-4444. There's only one number to remember, and that's 4.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
We all have that friend who wakes up early to go get everyone McDonald's breakfast while the rest of us sleep in. This is your sign to thank them. And if you're that friend, this is us saying thank you.
Having McDonald's breakfast is delicious. Having someone else get you McDonald's breakfast is delicious-er. Right now, get a baked breakfast with hotcakes for just $4.99. Only at McDonald's. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
It's patio season, so get over to the Roo Pub at 281 and Redland Road to enjoy the great South Texas weather. As always, ice cold beer and specialty drinks, happy hour weekdays from 11 to 6, and the kitchen is open late until 2 a.m. every day. Add the Roo Pub into your lunch rotation. With those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around, you know there is no better place to watch a game, and they always have all the fights. The Roo Pub, next to the Angry Elephant, 281 and Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
San Antonio Professional Boxing is on another level. SA Sports Star is proud to announce our partnership with Davies Entertainment for Viva La Brawl. Mark your calendars, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo at the Techport Arena to see San Antonio's very own Castaneda brothers, Kendo and Jairo Castaneda. Headline a card that features Brown Navarez versus Daniel Heinen, Destiny Jones versus Brittany Ordonez, and more. San Antonio Boxing like you've never seen. Davies Entertainment, Viva La Brawl coming Cinco de Mayo at the Boeing Techport Arena. Buy tickets now at daviesentertainment.com.
Smoker's Paradise, your premium smoke shop. Fully stocked to shop everything you need for your smoking needs under one roof. Vaporizers, disposable e-cigarettes, hookah accessories, water pipes, cigars, and more. With 13 area locations, including the newest location at Callahan and I-10. Visit smokersparadise.com. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Tonight, it's the NFL Draft on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Coverage begins at 5.
Jimenez and Spence on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Tonight's day 2 of the draft.
I've got to jump in because I just found out as we're coming out of break that you have a special guest coming up, and he's live from Kansas City, and he's there on vacation. The James Pledger of the world. I'm going to turn the interview over to you. You will handle it like a pro that you are, but I'm going to step out.
Well, Pledger graciously offered to be on the show today.
I'm going to step out.
Oh, go ahead, step out.
Because I have nothing to do with this. You came up with this idea and worked it out with James. Great. But I have nothing to do with it. So I'll see you at the update.
James Pledger, live from Kansas City. My man, how was yesterday, my man?
Yesterday was nutso. It was one of the best times as a fan of the Houston Texans that I can remember. And just being a draft guy, I was all immersed in everything that was going on yesterday. So it was really cool, but I'm sorry, Tim. I didn't know that you didn't know. And it just tracks in Jimenez's, kind of way that he handles things.
Yes,
I didn't know I was going to be on until just now.
The world revolves around me. I hope you know this. Pledge. I am a diva. You have said this before, but man, I was super excited because, the draft started yesterday. One of the big questions, everyone said the draft starts at number 2, and all the mock drafts had drifted into the Texans are going to go defense, right? Will Anderson, a player like that instead. But then at number 2, the announcement's made, and there's video of you on Twitter right now and on Instagram of your reaction when the number 2 pick was called, and it wasn't a defensive player, it was Stroud from Ohio State.
Well, Stroud had since the beginning been pegged as this is a 2-quarterback class at the top, and Levis and Richardson were battling for everything else. And through the process, Stroud had somehow been drugged down, despite people still describing him as the most natural and accurate passer in this draft. So something didn't match up. And the more I go back and watch the tape, the more I just couldn't understand what people were talking about. And he got knocked for having great talent around him. Well,
he's my favorite. He's my favorite of all the quarterbacks in this draft.
The year before, let's not forget, Bryce Young had a ton of talent around him. Jamison Williams, John Mechie, like they were stacked at Alabama, offensive linemen. So having bad talent shouldn't be a knock around you. I mean, the goal is to have the most amount of talent around you as a football team. So I never understood that. And then the other question with Stroud is, can he thrive in chaos? Can he, when structured plays break down, make something happen? Well, he showed us against Georgia, he can use his legs. And that was what was vaunted as one of the greatest defenses last year in the nation. And on the biggest stage, he made it happen. So Stroud, I never understood the level of consistent hate that he was getting as the pre-draft process broke down. More, they just started to figure things out. And so when he was finally called, there was nothing but joy and elation when it came down to that pick. And that's kind of what came out, because I was just sitting there waiting, hoping that a quarterback would be taken, because there is nothing that gives a franchise more hope for its future than what the Texans had done this offseason, going out and getting Dalton Schultz and Sheldon Rankins and adding to the team the way that they did in free agency and bringing DeMeco Ryans into the fold. The biggest way to continue that wave of hope that fans have felt and were getting back on board with was to get a franchise quarterback in the building. And it felt like if you would have passed on what a lot of people thought was going to be that, if you passed on it, then some of that air would have been let out of the balloon. And that wasn't the case. The balloon is at its capacity.
The Houston Texans got their guy.
Hope is there, man.
That's the thing. That's the Shawshank Redemption line. Hope is the best of things, right? It's a good thing. But the Texans have that, right? We've come a long way since the Bill O'Brien years, right?
It has been a long time since Bill O'Brien, and at times it didn't felt like it was ever coming.
So CJ Stroud is compared to Dak Prescott. When you hear that, what goes through your mind when it comes to that?
I mean, he's a top 10 quarterback in the league. That's kind of what you want to walk away with when you're picking that high. You'd love to have a generational Patrick Mahomes, but the tools are there for him to be a Dak Prescott. But the one thing that doesn't match up with the Dak Prescott comparison for me was CJ Stroud. The one thing that doesn't match up is Dak not known for his accuracy or being a natural thrower of the football. That's what CJ Stroud is. Mm-hmm. He throws the prettiest ball of anyone in the draft this year.
Well,
he has the best delivery, most fluid release. It is quick. That's the part of the process that I don't get. As a thrower of the football, he's a lot kind of like Justin Herbert as a thrower of the football. It's just seamless and natural and easy.
James Pledger was in Kansas City last night, still in Kansas City, but he was there at the draft, cheering on his Houston Texans. I'm excited they got Stroud. Stroud was my favorite quarterback of the draft. Don't get me wrong, Anthony Richardson was the most intriguing, and you know that I've been very critical about Bryce Young because of his height. But if I had to pick, I would have wanted CJ Stroud. I think the Texans did the right thing. But then, last second, Nick Caserio making the move to go up from number 12 to number 3 to get Will Anderson. So they answered the question, are they going to go quarterback? Or are they going to go defense? And they said yes.
That was after the reaction to CJ Stroud. Like, I didn't even really have time to process what was happening when I saw that we were back on the clock again, because I'm not watching TV. I'm not watching this broken down. So I see it and I'm like, holy hell, they are trading up for Will Anderson. They're going to get both guys. And then when the pick came in, I was like, you now have your foundational pieces for DeMeco Ryans in this football franchise on both sides of the ball. And you can say what you want. Will Anderson Jr. was one of the most productive football players in college football the last 2 seasons. And in terms of pressure, even last year when Aiden Hutchinson went number 1, he was a much better producer than was Aiden Hutchinson was.
So you were at the draft last night talking to James Pledger, one of my best buddies over here from San Antonio Sports Star in Kansas City, was at the draft. The video on Instagram, priceless, timeless. We couldn't play it because there were expletives involved. But you were super excited as a Texans fan. It was on a bucket list for you to go out to the draft. And tell us what it's like. Is it like a music festival? Is it like a concert? Is it like fiesta? What is the crowd exactly like in that type of environment?
Think of like everything you love about football. And it is all fan bases coming together in a commonality, and just everybody coming up to me wearing Texans gear and asking, so what are y'all going to do? What's happening? What do you expect? Like all day long, like people were specifically just coming up trying to figure out, because I didn't know what they were even doing. There was so much smoke coming out of Houston. Everybody was intrigued with what they were doing. And you start talking with other fan bases, of course, a ton of Chiefs fans, talked to some Ravens fans, congratulated him on the Lamar deal, which broke yesterday. Like, it is a football convention basically for fans. And it is so much fun. And it is just an amazing atmosphere of just a bunch of people of like minds, all looking for hope. There's no hate out there. And it is a great time. And as a matter of fact, there was a concert because after the show, Fall Out Boy played. And it was awesome.
So what you're saying is you went to a Fall Out Boy concert and a draft broke out. Very
well,
nice.
Yeah. And today I'm going to a Motley Crue concert and the draft's going to break out.
That is James Pledger in Kansas City for the draft. Sobered up enough to come in for a segment. Thank you for the last minute response, because yes, I am a diva. I do things last minute. That's just the way that I function sometimes. But you're my guy. Thanks for being with us, my man.
Hey, man, I appreciate it. I am going to get back to that level I was at yesterday before round 2 starts.
Very nice. Safe travels, my man. Safe travels.
We'll see you Monday.
Very nice. You know, the Dallas Cowboys got their guy. His name is Mazi Smith. We're going to hear from head coach Mike McCarthy about what the team sees in their first-round draft pick. Jimenez and Spence on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
With the 26th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Mazi Smith, defensive tackle, Michigan.
You heard it right there. Mazi Smith made first team All Big Ten last season. Tonight, the second and third round of the NFL Draft. You can listen on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star beginning at 5 o'clock.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Meet Joe A, Joe B,
Hello.
and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with AutoSave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect. Support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Getting to know yourself can be a lifelong process, especially since you're always growing and changing. Therapy is all about deepening that self-awareness, because sometimes you don't know what you really want until you talk things through. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist online who can take you on that journey of self-discovery from wherever you are. Visit betterhelp.com/score to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/score.
Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000. I tried to make payments.
The IRS wasn't satisfied with Eric's efforts, so they came after him full force.
They're coming to put a lien and a hold on all my income, my home, my car. I was just overwhelmed at what to do.
Then Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop, the threats would stop. It was easy like 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Eric's problem.
I owe $15,000, and now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Take Eric's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
For adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy, now there's Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months, and Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Nothing and me go hand in hand. Nothing on my skin, that's my new plan. Nothing is everything.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have infection or symptoms, such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, you could achieve 90% clearer skin. Ask your doctor about the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
O'Reilly. Does your vehicle have over 75,000 miles? Get maximum high mileage engine protection with new Syntec Full Synthetic High Mileage Motor Oil exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Right now, get 5 quarts of Syntec High Mileage and a MicroGuard Select Oil Filter for just $34.99. Limit supply. Ask for Syntec High Mileage at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Progressive presents an ad from Mom.
When you bundle your home and auto insurance with Progressive, bundle, that's a cute word. What? Read it again. Okay. When you bundle your home and auto insurance with Progressive, you get round-the-clock protection. Oh, that's darn good. Because once my older sister Dottie, her basement flooded.
Get round-the-clock protection when you bundle and save with Progressive. It's easier than getting your mom to make this radio ad. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Discount not available in all states or situations.
It's showtime. It's Jimenez and Spence on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Jimenez and Spence on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, on the go, ESPNSA.com. We're also streaming live on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe to San Antonio Sports Star. Follow San Antonio Sports Star, Mike Jimenez, Tim Spence, James Pledger on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you want to catch us, because we have a lot of content out there. Jason and Joe have the Blitz today. It's a short show today from 3 to 5. But Cowboys first-round draft pick Mazi Smith is expected to be on, you said in the 3 o'clock hour, correct?
No, between 2 and 3.
2 and 3.
He'll have a presser in Dallas. And if and when that happens, because sometimes travel arrangements don't match up. They give it a wide window, 2 to 3. If he is there and it's being streamed, which I believe it is, we should have it. If for some reason it's held up, it doesn't really happen, it's been moved to like 3 to 4, we're going to try and get it no matter what. Whenever it happens, you'll see it and hear it here first.
Now, Minix did mention that Mazi would call in possibly in the 3 o'clock hour. So that's what we're hoping for.
Yeah, for them.
Very nice. So no confirmation yet, but I think a soft confirmation, if you will. So we'll see if we can make this all happen. But again, if we do have Mazi Smith up there, we'll hope to take that live in the 2 o'clock hour. Again, the Cowboys have their first-round draft pick there. It was an exciting night last night in the draft. It's going to continue today because rounds 2 and 3 gets going here on San Antonio Sports Star at 5 o'clock. You know, when it comes to the Cowboys and what they did yesterday, Minix walked in the door earlier and said, wasn't sexy, but it was right. And that was what I said. Hey, I described it the exact same way. It wasn't a sexy move but it's probably the right move, at least the right position to address all the different things that we had talked about, whether it be offensive line, running back, tight end, wide receiver. They could have gone in all different directions because of how well they've handled free agency and the trades that they've done for Stephon Gilmore, for Brandon Cooks, but they still went with need. And to be honest with you, I'm okay with it. I'm pretty impressed by it all.
Yeah, I mean, why would you? What can you say negative about the pick? Can you find anything?
Well, you do say oftentimes, Spence, look at the picks that were taken 4 or 5 behind them.
Right.
The one that sticks out is Nolan Smith.
Okay. Outside of Nolan Smith, but we're splitting hairs here. Did we come away with something that's benefiting us as a Cowboy station, Cowboy fan?
Did they get better?
Did they get better?
Yes.
And I think a lot better. They have now a run stopper at nose tackle.
Right.
End of conversation.
You know how we have that conversation about whether or not the Cowboys reach out to Dak Prescott and ask the question.
You didn't see him there in the picture at the war room?
No,
there was 50 people in there. I think he's somewhere in the back. You know,
it looked like Dr. Evil's.
Dr. Evil, yeah,
I saw that.
He was in there somewhere though,
right?
Because he wants to be, help the front office make that next pick.
But to hear Micah Parsons just get excited and reach out to Mazi Smith earlier in the day, text him, you can tell that they have their favorites. And one of my favorite parts about all that, we played that sound earlier.
Whoa, stop right there.
Yeah.
How did he know? Forget favorites. How did he know to reach out to Mazi?
Well,
out of all the players that had been options for the Cowboys.
Quinn, get that sound ready of Micah Parsons talking about Mazi Smith, the one where he gets excited. Because here's the thing about it all. If you pay attention to this soundbite here, he mentions a particular person's name real quickly. Let's hear from it real fast.
The Dallas Cowboys select Mazi Smith.
Let's go, man! Let's go! Dan New! Yo, look at the text, man. I told you Dan wouldn't let me down, man.
Right there.
Dan wouldn't let me down.
Read the text. What does it say? You want me to read it? Michigan DT, you texted him today at 3:27, and he responded, "I'm all about that life," with 6 exclamation points. And then you wrote, "Please."
We about that life.
How do you feel, Mr. Micah Parsons?
No more QB sneak, AJ.
There's no way that Micah knew to text him unless he was giving some sort of heads up. I mean, out of all the players, he texts him.
Heads up that this is our short list right here.
He's on the short list.
And he says, I knew Dan would not let me down. Dan being a defensive coordinator, Dan Quinn.
I mean,
unless it's Dan, that's somebody else.
Dan the man.
Somebody else inside of
the janitor.
Frisco. Yeah. That so it's funny because he got super excited about it all. And I get it. Because Micah Parsons was gassed at the end of the season last year. Last 3 or 4 games of the season, he wasn't the Micah Parsons that the first 3 months we saw of him. He was tired. And you got double teamed and triple teamed. And now if you have somebody who can clog, you mentioned nose tackle, can clog that defensive line, those run lanes right there, it makes life easier for Micah Parsons. Mazi Smith might not get stats, but what he does do is alleviate a lot of stress that Micah Parsons goes through.
Well, I found it really interesting that, everyone tries, it's the closed mouth. No one's saying much, but there are so many cooks in the kitchen, so many people in the player personnel department, defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, head coach, front office in general. There's always some sort of, I won't say leak, but soft selling of here's kind of who's on the list.
Right.
So for him to know indirectly, directly, third hand from Dan, there was a reason why they told him to get him motivated, to let him know we're thinking about him, to let him know that we are doing whatever we can to help him on that defensive line.
It was needed. It was a need. It wasn't a luxury pick. It wasn't a wide receiver. It wasn't a running back, but it was something that clogs the middle, which is what the Cowboys need. Because if we all looked at last season and said, what was the deficiency? It was stopping the run. Kilbasa Smoke Meets phone line, 656 ESPN, 656-3776. Micah Parsons loved that pick, but so did head coach Mike McCarthy. Here's what he had to say.
I mean, really clearly the focus when you look at, when you go through evaluation postseason, and it's clearly that, we wanted to improve our run defense. So it was a focal point, and I think this clearly does that. I mean, we love everything about Mazi. He was here on the 30 visits. Personnel guys, everybody had high grades on him. He's a great fit for us. But this, strength of one of our many strengths, we take the ball away, pass rush. We just want to get better on earlier downs, and we think this is an excellent fit for us.
Notice what Mike McCarthy said right there. Mazi Smith was part of the 30 visits. And Jane Slater from the NFL Network, who is often on the blitz, had mentioned before that the last several draft picks that the Dallas Cowboys have had in the first round have gone through Frisco, have gone and been part of the 30. So the Cowboys aren't necessarily doing smoke screens out there. They're really trying to evaluate these guys that they bring into Frisco.
Oh, come on. Why would you bring somebody in if you're not evaluating?
Well, I understand that, but it's just one of those things where if you take a look at that list of 30, Michael Gelkin has it in Dallas Morning News. They posted it the other day.
There's been some.
You can look at that list and go, that's who they're targeting.
Yeah, but there's been plenty of teams that have not brought in a player in their 30 and then drafted them because they knew all along that's where they were going to go, but they couldn't tell anybody or divulge the name.
I think it happens whenever there's like a big drop.
Well, it could be. Yeah. Uh-huh.
For example, I don't know if they had Jalen Carter, right? Because Jalen Carter went 9, but Nolan Smith, who would have thought that he would be there 26?
But think about Jalen Carter for a second. Do you really have to bring Jalen Carter
No,
in?
you don't. Plenty of tape. There's plenty of tape.
Mazi Smith. Okay, yeah, you're bringing him in. Not Jalen Carter.
Now, the whole decision, though, for drafting Mazi Smith was actually a last-second thing because Jerry Jones says that this was something that went down to the wire.
I think that's a correct difference in philosophically. This defense, the way we've got it structured, a key player with that much lead, that much base, that much strength, that much disruption just from that standpoint, as opposed to, let's say, the number of sacks he gets. That kind of thinking, you wouldn't have seen that from us 10 years ago, 9 years ago. And but this isn't something we thought of on the draft board tonight. It's something that has been in the making for, frankly, a couple of years. And so because of the structure of this defense and Mike's really philosophy with how we want to handle our complementary football, as he says, this pick became the player and the style of play and the way he plays became more valuable. I'm simply comparing it to if I'd been sitting there 10 years ago for the Cowboys.
Translation from Jerry Jones right there. Do not judge Mazi Smith on stats. Judge him on how the defense does as a unit.
Why couldn't he have just said that in the 10 words you just did?
Right. I mean, he spoke for a minute to basically dance around it by saying, look, he's not going to get a lot of sacks. He may not get a lot of tackles, but he brings something.
He's going to lock down 5 yards in the middle of the line.
And that's what was needed.
That's what was needed.
That's what was needed last year. Now, when you take a look at what the Dallas Cowboys are and where they can go from here, they did improve. But they didn't improve as much as the Eagles did last night. Cowboys were at number 26. The Eagles had 2 first-round draft picks. We're at 10 and at 30. The reason why they had 2 first-round draft picks was because they got one from the New Orleans Saints last year. They ended up trading a 4th rounder to move up from 10 to 9 to ensure that they would get Jalen Carter, big-time pick. And then Nolan Smith, also from Georgia, sitting there at 30. Eagles probably ran that one up there. It was like they're on the clock for 10 minutes. No, they're not. 8 minutes into it, they already had pick is in. It's Nolan Smith. Mike McCarthy says, yeah, the Eagles may have gotten better, but we're not taking a look around the NFC East. We're just focusing on us, the Cowboys.
Good, Will. It looks like something. I mean, I think we pick him. You coach him. Yeah. I've never personally. I've never really sweated with the other teams. I mean, we all recognize players that we like, and coaches and personnel guys. We fall in love with a lot of these guys. So they're good picks, the other teams. But yeah, I've never really sweated with the other guy takes.
Head coach Mike McCarthy talking about the fact that they're not worried about other teams. They're focusing on what they're doing
until they get off the stage.
Yes.
What in the hell? How'd they get that guy? Until they get off the stage. You cannot tell me that there wasn't one of those. Did you just see what the Eagles did?
I mean, Micah Parsons looking at it going, my goodness. They have 4 players from Georgia starting on defense now that they got in the last 2 drafts, 3 of them in the first round. Again, that is why the Philadelphia Eagles are going to be called the Philadelphia Bulldogs for the next few years, man. That's a great nickname.
And they might be also called Super Bowl champions.
You got to get through Philly. The road to the Super Bowl goes through Philly.
Absolutely.
Because the Cowboys cannot make it to the Super Bowl if they don't win the NFC East, because it's so difficult to make it as a wild card. It's not impossible, but it is so difficult. We have more to talk about when it comes to the NFL. We're going to preview tonight's second and third round of the draft. Again, starting at 5 o'clock after the blitz. Again, 5 o'clock. What should the Cowboys do from here? We're going to preview tonight's draft. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Slacker Sports and Arcade Bar presents the NFL Draft on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Pick is in. Let's go to the commissioner.
The Dallas Cowboys select.
This is going to be a fun player to watch.
All day today, join 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star for this year's NFL Draft, live from Kansas City. Who do the Cowboys and Texans pick? Does Jerry make a splash? Who goes number 1? And who's the next Mr. Irrelevant? Find out right here tonight at 5. Presented by Slackers Sports and Arcade Bar and your exclusive home for the Cowboys. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative posts from an ex-employee or a former client? Maybe an outdated news article or sensitive personal information about your family? Search engines don't always get it right, but right or wrong, it's your reputation on the line. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. One of the most trusted names in online reputation repair, Reputation Defender has been fixing people's search results for over 15 years. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, helping you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. Take control with Reputation Defender. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 to speak to an expert. That's 800-401-6681.
Folks, quality is a huge deal. It's what I look for when I recommend something to my listeners. It means you can depend on it. Quality means it won't let you down. It's something you can be proud of. Well, that's the definition of a Connecticut water softener. With other water softener brands, you just never know. Maybe they work half the time or they're just plain junk. A Connecticut water softener is up to 80% more efficient than competing models and will be the last water softener you'll ever own. That's because you're buying quality, and it's backed up with an outstanding 10-year warranty, too. If you're ready to enjoy all the benefits that come with quality, bring home a Connecticut water softener. Call the team at Connecticut at 656-PURE or online at ConnecticutSA.com. That's 656-PURE or ConnecticutSA.com, and tell them Dave Ramsey sent you.
The last water softener you'll ever own. Call 656-PURE, Connecticut.
Happy hour is back at Twin Peaks. Get up here Monday through Friday from 2 to 7 and score some sweet deals like $1 off all wine, liquor, and cheap shots. Freezing 29-degree cold draft brews and select apps for $2, $4, and $6. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, and scenic views.
San Antonio Professional Boxing is on another level. SA Sports Star is proud to announce our partnership with Davies Entertainment for Viva La Brawl. Mark your calendars, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo at the Techport Arena to see San Antonio's very own Castaneda brothers Kendo and Jairo Castaneda headline a card that features Brown Navarez versus Daniel Heinen, Destiny Jones versus Brittany Ordonez, and more. San Antonio boxing like you've never seen. Davies Entertainment, Viva La Brawl coming Cinco de Mayo at the Boeing Techport Arena. Buy tickets now at daviesentertainment.com.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Aggies play here. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The Pittsburgh Steelers are on the clock. High hopes for a lot of these players. Second and third round on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star beginning at 5 o'clock. Again, the blitz is only going from 3 to 5 today because second and third round of the draft, we got to hear your home for the NFL draft is San Antonio Sports Star. Mike Jimenez, Tim Spence with you. Spence, I was looking at ESPN.com. Did you know that there are 5 players that they projected to go in the first round that didn't get picked last night?
Outside of Will Levis, who are the other 4?
Okay, so Will Levis, quarterback for Kentucky, was the highest ranked person not drafted. At number 19 overall ranking, according to ESPN, that did not get drafted, Michael Mayer, tight end from Notre Dame. He was the second ranked tight end, 19th ranked overall of all the players in the draft. The third player that was supposed to go in the first round that didn't happen was Joey Porter Jr., cornerback out of Penn State. He was the 23rd ranked player in the entire draft, according to ESPN.com. Safety Brian Branch out of Alabama, who's the highest rated safety, by the way, was not taken last night. And the 5th player that should have gone in the first round, according to ESPN, is Oregon State tight end Luke Musgrave. He was ranked 31st.
Well, question is, because you look at the next, let's say the next 10 picks, I could almost see as many trade ups in the next 10 picks of the second round that we saw in the entire draft last night. Because some of those players you only have 31 picks.
Mm-hmm.
And you can sit there and say, well, there's 16 that are true number ones. Okay. Well, if that's the case, then there's 15 that are second rounders, and you've got another 10 that are going to be sitting in that pick. We've now have squeezed it down even more, trying to get these players that were on the back end of 1 into 2.
Right.
And the guys that were in 2, there's not enough room for everybody. So we're going to have some more push down. But who's going to be trading up to get the cream of the crop of the back of the first round?
Well, the teams that have the capital to do so. One of those teams could be the Houston Texans. The Texans don't have a second round draft pick, but they have a couple of thirds, a couple of fourths, a couple of fifths, a couple of sixths. They have a lot of players still to draft in this draft.
Where do you think Levis goes, though?
Well, let's go through the list right now of who is next in line and who would need a quarterback. Pittsburgh is up next. They're not taking a quarterback. At 33, you've got the Arizona Cardinals. They're not. Lions at 34, they're not. Colts already got theirs. The Rams already have theirs. 37, the Seattle Seahawks.
I say 50-50.
Long-term projection, maybe. 38, you've got the Oakland Raiders.
Vegas
Raiders, that's correct. And they have Jimmy G.
Jimmy G.
Possible.
Panthers, no. Saints at 40.
Saints at 40. They signed Derek Carr. It's not the longest of deals. You know, you could always back out of it
And
after
the
a couple of
Titans
years.
right behind them at 41.
The Titans at 41. I think the Titans are going to go with Hendon Hooker, who played for Tennessee.
Somewhere in that conversation, when does somebody move up?
Somebody moves up. It could be the Jets, who are at 43. That's a very good candidate there.
I think the Jets are moving up.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you? First off, you've got 43 for the Jets, and I thought they had another one, but maybe not. So 43. You only have Aaron for 2 years. If you think you're getting more than, first off, it's not even for sure that you're getting him second year, but let's just say he's open to the idea you get him for 2 years. You take a Hendon Hooker, you're literally now can prepare him as your future, or Will Levis as your future. Who better to train under than Aaron Rodgers?
Exactly. But then again, maybe Aaron Rodgers can resurrect the career of Zach Wilson.
That ain't going to happen.
I don't know, man. Both of them are bad apples. Maybe misery loves company when it comes to those two. Kielbasa Smoke Meats phone line 656 ESPN 656-3776. We got Mike on line 1 wanting to talk about the Cowboys and what they should do in the second and third round. What's going on, Mike?
Hey guys, love the show. Just a quick question. I love what we took at number 1. I think it's going to solidify the defense, but the big problem that I see, or the success of this year's draft, comes in pick 2 and 3, because when you analyze the game against the 49ers, we didn't lose because of our defense. We lost because we had no offensive spark. So I'm asking you guys what you think. You know, I really feel they're going to almost have to go offense for pick 2 and 3. And then the other question would be exactly what y'all are pointing out. There's some legit talent that could slide down to us because the way this draft has gone in such an odd way, that we could pick up some real value in both 2 and 3. Thanks. Love the show. You all have a great day.
Hey, thanks for calling in. Thanks for listening. Going offense, I truly believe the Cowboys are going to do that unless Branch somehow falls to them into the 50s, but I don't see that happening. When you say help the offense, there's 2 ways of doing that. You either help in the trenches or you help by giving Dak a weapon to play with. So, Spence, let me throw some names out at you. Steve Avila, who has been in Frisco, TCU offensive lineman, considered to be one of the top offensive linemen out there. Maybe, just maybe, he falls to the Cowboys, because if he's there at 58, the Cowboys are going to take him. But there are other names out there. Some wide receivers like Jonathan Mingo from Ole Miss. The one I like, who also spoke to us at San Antonio Sports Star at Radio Row, Jalen Hyatt of Tennessee. He is still available. And then when it comes to running backs, if you're going to go that route, Zach Charbonnet of UCLA is still available. Kendre Miller of TCU, Devin Akane of Texas A&M, and Bijan's backup, Rashawn Johnson, still available from the Texas Longhorns.
That's an interesting one. You're getting the Bijan
light.
Bijan light. Do you need a Bijan? Can you win with a Bijan light?
He's not going to be the featured back, so it would be okay.
Does he have to be?
No, he doesn't have to be.
All right, so let's look at tight end, because somewhere in this conversation they're going tight end.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree?
Yes.
Okay. The 2 top ones, Michael Mayer and Luke Musgrave. I think based on whatever you're looking for, it's 1 and 1A. Do you think they're going to be there by time the Cowboys?
No.
So they're going to have to go up and get them if they really want one of those 2 tight ends, and they're going to have to go up some capital. You know, to our caller's question about offensive firepower. Remember that this offense is going to be a run offense first and foremost. So to your point, getting someone on the offensive line, their biggest issues last year were defensive line. Hey, look what they did 26, and offense. Really, and even to Minix's point, he told you, hey, it wasn't a sexy one, but it was a need. Great. That's what they need on the offense. If you want to see the offense explode, you need more firepower on the offensive line.
I like where you're going with this because when it comes to tight ends, they had so many mock drafts going in that direction. And I truly believe that they want to have a tight end. It's just they looked at it and said, Mayer 26, don't think so. We can get somebody just as good. That's what we've been talking about when it comes to the draft. It's not only who you pick, but whether or not you can get somebody comparable if you pass on somebody. And is there a tier 1 or a tier 2 when it comes to any of these positions? This is going to be an exciting night. Again, San Antonio Sports Star is your home for the NFL draft rounds 2 and 3 tonight. 5 o'clock is when coverage starts here on San Antonio Sports Star. So the Blitz is only going till 5 o'clock. We have another hour of Jimenez and Spence. Kilbasa Smoke Meats phone line 656 ESPN. We're going to take that call on the other side. But if you want to get in on the conversation, 656-3776. Jimenez and Spence returns right after this.
This is San Antonio Sports Star, KTFM Floresville, and always at ESPNSA.com. San Antonio's Sports Center.
The Houston Texans made a big trade last night, ended up picking 2nd and 3rd in the draft. They took CJ Stroud, the quarterback from Ohio State, and linebacker Will Anderson Jr. Cowboys selected Mazi Smith in the first round of the draft, a defensive tackle out of Michigan. Smith made first team All Big Ten last season. And Will Levis, he was one of the 17 invited to the green room. He stayed there.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Mike Jimenez.
The San Antonio Spurs are the world champions.
Tim Spence.
Victory! Cowboys win!
It's showtime. It's Jimenez and Spence on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hour number 3 of Jimenez and Spence on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. On the go at ESPNSA.com. We're streaming live on YouTube right now. And who's that over there? Who's that over there? See somebody peeking over on the corner.
Oh my gosh, who is that?
Was he wearing that suit last night?
I think he looks familiar.
Did the women leave?
I don't know, but there were a couple of hotties sitting next to him at one point. My gosh.
At one point.
It's Will Levis.
It's Will Levis, everybody. He slid down the draft, and part of me was aching for him, and part of me was like,
you know, someone's going to get screwed.
Yeah.
And, part of it, I think, is his fault also. I mean, you can sit there and say, CJ Stroud was the same thing. I'm the best guy. I mean, it's puffing up my chest and I got to sell my wares and blah. And, I'm not a test taker. All these other things that CJ Stroud said.
I'm not a test taker.
Stupid lines.
Yeah.
And Will Levis had the same mindset. See, be careful how far you go before you then stick your neck out. Too far.
Can I interest you, Spence, in a new mock draft that was just released 5 minutes ago by SI.com? A second round mock draft, a day 2 mock draft. It's different though, man, because these are different names, right? We're not going to see the names of Bijan Robinson on anymore because he's already been taken. But according to SI.com, Joey Porter Jr. of Penn State should go number 32 to the Steelers. And I'm looking for Will Levis's name. I'm looking for his name. 34, Osiris Torrance out of Florida going to Detroit. They believe that a cornerback from K-State will go to Indy at 35. Hendon Hooker, they have going number 36. So even Hooker going before Will Levis, they believe he'll go to the Rams at 36. According to SI, Will Levis would go 38 to the Las Vegas Raiders.
That's not the worst pick for the Raiders.
Not at all.
I mean, Jimmy is, you love him, you hate him. Is Jimmy going to take them to the Super Bowl and win a ring? Probably not. Could he get you into the conversation? Sure. So I wouldn't be surprised. Jimmy throws a couple INTs. People are screaming. Let's see what the Will Levis can bring. Throw him in there.
Yep. I mean, that's what Vegas is all about, right? Gambling, baby.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, so the casinos didn't really have it, did they?
They were pretty close.
No, come on. Oh, they know. They have inside people.
Do you know who had it?
They have.
Do you know who had it? Daniel Jeremiah of NFL.com. He had it because his final mock draft had the Houston Texans trading up to number 3 and getting Will Anderson and CJ Stroud.
Okay.
He nailed
But
it.
the casinos, you were like, because you're all about casinos. Casinos. Oh, they got somebody inside. They know this, that, and the other thing. And they weren't even close.
I don't
think that.
It was anticipated to be the craziest draft in a long while because there was no set in stone type of things.
Yeah.
What were the Texans going to do?
Crazy.
It was chaotic. According to SI.com, at number 58, they believe the Dallas Cowboys will take Devin Arcane, running back out of Texas A&M. Says Zeke Elliott is gone. Tony Pollard is coming off a serious injury while playing on a one-year franchise. A chain isn't the biggest back in the class, but like Pollard, he makes up for it with elite speed and home run ability. Devon Chain, running back, Texas A&M. But what do you guys think?
Well, yeah, but what do you think about him? That's their second round pick?
I'd rather have Charbonnet.
Okay, if you're going for a running back, but why are we going for a running back?
Especially with all the different things that are still available out there. There are a lot of good tight ends that are still available.
Forget tight ends. If you answered your need on defensive line, you still have a need on the offensive line.
Well, that would be Steve Avila out of TCU, but you'd have to hope that he's still there.
Well, yeah, but there's more than just one.
Yeah, but that's the one that kind of makes the most sense.
Then go up and get him. But if that is the point, and we're not worried about the NFC East, compare, contrast, tit for tat, that's the other need, is it not? You can sit there and say tight end. Okay, tight end's in the conversation. But what's more of a need, offensive line or tight end?
Depends on who you ask. If you ask Dak Prescott, he'll say tight end.
Oh, I don't think so. I think he'll say offensive line because he doesn't want to get sacked.
Now, again, Steve Avila is the number one rated, still on the board, actually overall number one rated guard. Drafting a guard early is not the sexiest of things, but the Cowboys have done it before. His draft analysis, according to ESPN, is an interior offensive line prospect with outstanding size and good length. 6'4", 332. What do you guys think? Reach out to us on the Kielbasa Smoke Meats phone line, 656 ESPN, 656-3776. Got Gary on line 1. What's up, Gary?
Hey, how y'all doing today?
Doing great.
You guys must be reading my mind. The next pick for the Dallas Cowboys needs to be Steve Avila. That's who we need to be. You address one side of the line, you address the other side of the line because you know Tyron Smith is going to get hurt. It's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And in that third round, Roschon Johnson is versatile. He used to play quarterback. When we had Cedric Wilson, he would run those little trick plays and throw the ball. Roschon Johnson was one of the best high school quarterbacks coming out when he was in high school. I think when you bring a guy like him, you bring a little versatility to the offense. You have him going on a sweep. You don't know if he's going to run, if he's going to throw it, and he's an excellent receiver too.
Very nice. Thank you for the call in, Gary. Appreciate it. Thank you for listening.
So Tyron, plays left tackle.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's no guarantee that a offensive guard is an automatic switch to left tackle.
No, but you have Tyler Smith that you can move over. He has played left tackle before.
Okay.
He played it last year.
So then the position that almost then is the next move if Tyron can't play.
Right.
Okay. So then what is the hole? Offensive guard?
I would say the hole is probably going to be right tackle or right guard.
Okay. Back to my original question. If you have a right tackle, can he move over to play right guard and vice versa?
Not necessarily, but there are some players that are more versatile than others.
If that's the case, then you have a 318-pound, 6'5" Matthew Bergeron at offensive tackle, and you have as a number one in that position still out there, and you have a Steve Avila. Are we interested in Steve Avila because he went to TCU?
Well, TCU went far.
Okay.
They had a quarterback that succeeded for a reason.
Yeah, but okay. I'm about ready to fall.
But he's ranked really high.
I'm not saying Steve Avila.
He's the number one overall ranked offensive guard.
Okay, so if that's the case, then go get him. But you could go Osiris Torrance with Florida. He was one of the early mock drafts pick at 26 for the Cowboys. So you have the ability to go if you can't get Avila. or you can't get the guy I just mentioned from the offensive tackle standpoint, you can find the 1A and the 1B and not miss what you're trying to do, and that's help beef the offensive line.
The one name that I'm looking at right now that I wonder if he drops, whether or not the Cowboys would go after him, is Darnell Washington, the tight end from Georgia.
Why are you so focused on freaking tight ends?
I mean, the guy is just a beast.
Oh, just because you saw some video of him on your phone.
Oh no, no. Georgia's a team that you watch because they make it through to the national championship game.
You really think that if I took, I'm gonna have to put my I hate Georgia hat off to the side for a second. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
When I think of Georgia, I don't think tight end. Their success.
Their defense is success.
Right. That is, and their offense not bad, but the defense is what won them championships the last 2 years.
But a tight end that's 6'7", 264, my goodness. His NFL comparison, according to Matt Miller of ESPN, is Mercedes Lewis. Now, Mercedes Lewis, don't get me wrong, he's 40 years old now, but back in the day, Mercedes Lewis was a pretty damn good tight end. There's a lot of good tight ends there, man. You have Michael Mayer, whose comparison is to TJ Hawkinson. You've got Luke Musgrave from Oregon State. His comparison is Mike Gesicki. So, I mean, these aren't, you don't see the name Travis Kelce, which is what would get you excited. Sam Laporta from Iowa has also been linked to the Dallas Cowboys. He is compared to Dawson Knox of the Buffalo Bills.
How about we go get offensive tackle DeJuan Jones, 6'8", 374. Try and move that truck.
That's a big guy, my man. That is a big guy. Personal opinion. They play for Bama or Georgia. Gonna take them. That's what the Eagles are doing right now, right? The Eagles right now are basically the Philadelphia Bulldogs, the Georgia Eagles. I mean, it's nice to see that there's an NFL team that has a college as its recruiting source, as its pipeline for players. My goodness, what the Eagles did last night still amazes me. Micah Parsons was pissed.
I would be too. I'd be freaking besides myself. They did the unthinkable. We're all focused on Bijan.
Right.
Bijan goes to the Falcons. And you think, okay, who are they going to go? Oh, wait a minute. Hold on tight.
Dude, what the Eagles did last night, they had the picks 10 and 30. They moved up to number 9 to get Jalen Carter. Nolan Smith, also of the Georgia Bulldogs, sitting right there at 30.
Nolan Smith is one of those, the guy was hidden between the other superstars.
He's a little bit smaller compared to others.
Right.
That's probably why he slipped.
But he's the little fly, the little flea that you want to just knock off because he's just buzzing around your head. The quarterback's at 24-7.
Yeah. The guy's coming to get you.
Coming to get you. I don't know where. He might start on the right side, but he ends up on the left side and vice versa.
The Eagles defense is going to be scary. Scary good. They were really good last year anyway. Led the league in sacks last year.
And rightfully so. I'm not trying to rip you here. Look who the Eagles lost in free agency. They're going to be, a step knocked down. Dude, they could not be more difficult to beat now than they have been in the last few years.
I mean, a defense that not only they got Jordan Davis last year out of Georgia. Now they have Jalen Carter. They've got Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, Josh Sweat, Nakobe Dean, who they got from Georgia, Hassan Reddick, who's led the league in sacks. I mean, this is a just brutal defense that the Cowboys are going to have to face twice this year. And as Micah Parsons says, you mean these guys are going to be around for 5 years together because they're all on rookie deals? That is insane.
This is the Bengals all over again, but on the defensive
side. On the defensive side, yes. Because they're like, oh, you want to make $80 million? Yeah, we'll just go draft your replacement. Played for Georgia. We'll get him for 20.
Yes.
Now, speaking of money matters, the Baltimore Ravens got themselves 2 Pro Bowl quarterbacks now. Tyler Huntley and Lamar Jackson. That's right, baby. Lamar Jackson wrote that letter of goodbye to the fans, but guess what? That bridge wasn't burned enough. This is Jimenez and Spence on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Slacker Sports and Arcade Bar presents the NFL Draft on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Pick is in. Let's go to the commissioner.
The Dallas Cowboys select.
This is going to be a fun player to watch.
All day today, join 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star for this year's NFL Draft, live from Kansas City. Who do the Cowboys and Texans pick? Does Jerry make a splash? Who goes number one? And who's the next Mr. Irrelevant? Find out right here tonight at 5. Presented by Slacker Sports and Arcade Bar and your exclusive home for the Cowboys. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
At QC Kinetics, we have story after story of patients freed from agonizing pain through amazing regenerative treatments. But this one, well, it's extra special.
My father, who is 70 years old, had both of his knees worn out. He went to an orthopedic surgeon who said, you need both of your knees operated on. We can book you for next week.
But Dr. Daniel Zuckerman, a QC Kinetics medical director, knew he had other options.
I had him come to QC Kinetics. We treated both of his knees using our protocols with regenerative medicine. Within a few months, he was back to walking. A few months later, he was at the gym exercising 3 times a week. He can keep up with our 3.5-year-old little girl.
No surgery, no complicated rehab or downtime.
It's completely life-changing for him.
You have options too. Before they whisk you away to surgery, slow down. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. 210-571-0318.
We all have that friend who wakes up early to go get everyone McDonald's breakfast, while the rest of us sleep in. This is your sign to thank them. And if you're that friend, this is us saying thank you.
Having McDonald's breakfast is delicious. Having someone else get you McDonald's breakfast is delicious-er. Right now, get a big breakfast with hotcakes for just $4.99. Only at McDonald's. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
O'Reilly. Does your vehicle have over 75,000 miles? Get maximum high mileage engine protection with new Syntec Full Synthetic High Mileage Motor Oil exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Right now, get 5 quarts of Syntec High Mileage and a MicroGuard Select Oil Filter for just $34.99. Limit supply. Ask for Syntec High Mileage at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Progressive presents an ad from Mom.
When you bundle your home and auto insurance with Progressive, bundle, that's a cute word. What? Read it again. Okay. When you bundle your home and auto insurance with Progressive, you get round-the-clock protection. Oh, that's darn good. Because once my older sister Dottie, her basement flooded.
Get round-the-clock protection when you bundle and save with Progressive. It's easier than getting your mom to make this radio ad. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Discount not available in all states or situations.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The patented key ingredient is something called Testofen, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text TETL to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text HETTLE to 321-321. That's kettle to 321-321.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Tonight, it's the NFL Draft on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Coverage begins at 5.
Jimenez and Spence on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, on the go at ESPNSA.com. Mike Jimenez, Tim Spence with you till 3 o'clock. Saw a great post on Twitter right now talking about Howie Roseman, who is the general manager of the Philadelphia Eagles. And it talks about the fact that the Eagles traded Carson Wentz to the Colts a few years back.
So I wonder where this is going.
Got a first-round pick for it, got a third-round pick for him. Then they flipped those picks to go down and pick up more capital. And then they flipped those picks to go down and get more capital. And at the end of the day, the Philadelphia Eagles traded Carson Wentz and turned it into wide receiver A.J. Brown, wide receiver Devontae Smith, and 2 studs on the defense, Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter.
He should be the GM of the year. Maybe the last 2 years. Just on that alone.
I mean, just getting more capital, and then pouncing on it.
And then let's be honest. This wasn't the goal, the plan.
No.
They fell into this. But when you set yourself up for that opportunity and you fall into it, well, what else do you expect? You're going to get something good out of it if you just play your cards right. And by God, they did.
Amazing what the Eagles are doing right now. That is the team you need to get over.
Jeez.
If Jalen Hurts is healthy, that team is Super Bowl bound. If he's healthy, they're going to go back. The Cowboys are one of the 3 best teams right now in the NFC. But if you take a look at what the NFC looks like right now, in the NFC East, it is the Cowboys and the Eagles. Eagles are tier 1, Cowboys are tier 2 as of right now. Other divisions, the Lions are getting better, but do I think the Lions are going to make a Super Bowl run? I don't. The Vikings are the Vikings, which means that they start off hot and then they wet the bed. The Bears are getting better, but they're not making a Super Bowl run. You go to the NFC South, and you've got the Saints. The Saints will probably win the division, but they're not going to make a Super Bowl run. You got the Niners. Now you've got the Seahawks, which you might look at the Seahawks and think to yourself, you know what? The Seahawks, with the pick that they got, the stud wide receiver, that is something that might make them a tier 2 team alongside the Cowboys.
That all said and done, you've ignored the tier 1 move that happened just about the same time the draft happened.
Lamar Jackson, that deal that he got, proud of the guy. I mean, he stuck to his guns. This is somebody who refused to hire an agent. This is somebody who reportedly turned down proposals in the past. And we were all thinking to ourselves, is Lamar Jackson going to sit out this season or not? Because he was offered a franchise tag, but it was the franchise tag that would allow him to go to other teams and try to negotiate a deal with the other teams. He couldn't find one. And some people accuse collusion. I believe that there was collusion against him.
Of course
there was. But the deal that he got was a little bit better than Jalen Hurts' deal. Hurts signed a deal for $51 million a year.
Right.
This one right here, $52 million a year.
Do you really think that's going to last?
What's that?
$52 million. Someone's going to get 53.
Right.
It's just going to keep going. Okay?
Right.
So the grandiose, I'm the highest paid quarterback in the league. Enjoy it now. It's going to be over really quick, though.
Right. So, and that's the thing. So 5 years, $260 million, $185 million guaranteed. Now, He will earn a base salary of $32 million with a cap hit of $32 million this upcoming season because part of this gets converted into a bonus. I have no idea how any of that works. I can talk to you all day about how the NBA functions with its, those exemptions and all that stuff. I can talk to you all day long about that. The NFL, though, they need to have like a class as to how any of this works, because if you have somebody who's like, oh, well, I make $60 million, but half of it was a signing bonus. So bizarre.
It is really bizarre. And if you make a mistake in any of it, you lose draft capital.
Exactly.
They will freaking come down like a hammer. Now, the one thing that regarding the Ravens, so they hit the draft. They got OBJ already with Lamar now, and they go for who I think is going to be a tremendous wide receiver out of BC, Zay Flowers. So fast, so quick. It's the little bug that just runs around and you can't tackle the man.
Zay Flowers, arguably the best wide receiver out there, 5'9", 182. His comparison, according to Matt Miller of ESPN.com, is Elijah Moore for the Jets. It's you look at those types of receivers. Who's the one that I'm thinking of from the Eagles? It's just like a Deshaun Jackson type of wide receiver, one who's just a home run hitter, that if he gets the ball, watch out. He's lightning speed.
Yes.
And that's the type of guy that they got. So now he has some people to throw to. We were talking about that. Who does he have to throw to? Now you have Lamar Jackson, who gets to throw to not only Odell Beckham Jr., but now Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, arguably one of the 5 best tight ends in the league. The Ravens might make some noise. It's so interesting what's going on in the NFL, especially when you take a look at the landscape when it comes to these divisions and when it comes to the fact that the NFC only has a few good quarterbacks in the AFC. I mean, the AFC has what? You got Buffalo with a good quarterback, Miami with a good Watson with the Browns, Trevor Lawrence with the Jaguars. You've got Kansas City, the Raiders, the Chargers, all with good quarterbacks, and then the Broncos have a good quarterback. There's 11 teams in the AFC that have a legit quarterback that can take you to the playoffs and make a run in the playoffs.
ESPN did a great job last night when they talked about a certain player. They bring up his comparative and match him one-on-one. And it wasn't just wide receivers, running backs. It was tight end. It was every aspect of here's who we're looking at. Okay. Now, some were like, okay, do we really want to go down that path? Versus some were like, yes, Zay Flowers is the spitting image Tyreek Hill.
He could be.
And they showed it on ESPN. Zay Flowers gets the ball. He is gone. Tyreek Hill gets the ball. He is gone.
Zay Flowers, again, he's short. He's 5'9". Okay. But this is somebody that has lightning speed, ran a 4.42 at the combine, a vertical jump of nearly 36 inches, a broad jump, which I don't know why they do, of nearly 11 feet. Still don't know why they do the broad jump. I've come around when it comes to the cone drills and all that stuff, but they do the broad jump over there. Zay Flowers of Boston College is now a Baltimore Raven. The draft, again, rounds 2 and 3 on San Antonio Sports Star today, starting at 5 o'clock. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about the NFL draft because really, I mean, that is the main story in sports today. I know there's NFL playoffs going on, but let's talk about the Houston Texans because the Texans made some moves last night that were not expected unless you're Daniel Jeremiah of NFL Network, NFL.com rather. But let's talk more about the draft. Get you going. Jimenez and Spence returns on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
With the 26th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Mazi Smith, defensive tackle, Michigan.
That's right, Mazi Smith, the newest Cowboy. The Texans, they stole the draft with the Eagles. They get C.J. Stroud to pick up linebacker Will Anderson in the 3rd pick. Rounds 2 and 3 tonight of the NFL Draft, right here, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Sadly, millions of pets are euthanized in America every year because the shelters lack the funding to care for them. We are better than that, my friends. I'm John O'Hurley, and I invite you to make an $11 monthly donation to the Puppy Food Bank. Your $11 donation will allow the Puppy Food Bank to direct ship pet food to San Antonio rescue shelters. To help save a pet's life, donate $11 today at puppyfoodbank.org, and they'll send you a very special gift. This pet rescue message has been brought to you by Thomas J. Henry.
I'm Scott Trout, attorney and CEO of the domestic litigation firm Cordell & Cordell. We help men deal with the life changes triggered by divorce, such as child custody and property division, among many others. But life changes also occur after divorce. These changes can make parts of your existing court order irrelevant. If you feel a modification to your court orders might be necessary, talk to us at Cordell & Cordell. We're a partner men can count on.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's San Antonio area attorneys. Offices in San Antonio, Austin, and St. Louis. CordellCordell.com.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you're always looking for ways to position your operation to create opportunities and move on them faster. With Bank of America, you get access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2023 Bank of America, N.A.
If you have certain chronic conditions such as heart disease,
asthma,
diabetes, and you're 19 years of age or older, 52,
36,
42, you may be at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a Pfizer vaccine that can help protect against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most commonly reported side effect was pain at the injection site. For additional common side effects and full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
I'm going to ask my doctor
about getting vaccinated
with Prevnar 20.
Finding great people to hire can be like trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Their powerful matching technology delivers so many qualified candidates, it's like finding a needle in a needle stack. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. For less hay and more needles, head to ZipRecruiter.
And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to start getting conversational in another language? In as little as 3 weeks, Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
Babbel, language for life, celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
I studied Spanish in college and never got fluent. But then I tried Babbel.
Want the most effective way to learn another language? In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel's bite-sized lessons will have you learning another language in as little as 3 weeks.
Babbel gets you speaking quickly about things you actually talk about in the real world.
University studies have shown that using Babbel for 15 hours is equivalent to a semester of college Spanish. If you want to learn a new language, there's no better way than Babbel. Go to Babbel.com to try Babbel for free. That's Babbel.com.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to 4hims.com/joy. That's FORHIMS.com/JOY.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
It's showtime. It's Jimenez and Spence on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Jimenez and Spence on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, on the go at ESPNSA.com. Mike Jimenez, Tim Spence with you till 3. You know, I just read a tweet, Spence, that made me laugh. It was from former Dallas Cowboy Des Bryant. He says that the moves that the Eagles made yesterday made him want to punch the air. the Eagles going and getting Jalen Carter at number 9 and Nolan Smith at 30.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't have any doubt. Absolutely.
So you and I are having difficulty with the microphones right now. So my bad for that. But let's talk about the Houston Texans real fast, because the Texans, man, the moves that they made last night, going for a quarterback at number 2, that was the surprise there, because CJ Stroud 2 weeks ago was basically in permanent marker. That was the guy that they were going to take. But then after another 2 weeks before the draft, it was starting to unravel. It's like, no, they're going to take Will Anderson instead. And then they decided, you know what? Let's take both. Moved up. They traded their number 12 pick and a future pick to move up back into the top 3. Bold move.
See, but that's why you can sit there and say the Eagles, Stephen A. Oh, they stole. That's all about the Eagles, blah, 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 blah. He's playing to the Philly crowd. He's playing to Philly, okay? That's what he's playing to. The large market, Northeast, yada, yada, yada. Did they do well? Sure. They fell into it, though. And God bless them. God love them, okay? They made out well, but they fell into it. In my eyes, the Texans stole the draft because they made the boldest move in the history of this draft to get who they needed and what they wanted.
Most definitely. I mean, it's a ballsy move to do that. But they had the draft capital. They have the draft capital because they pulled that trade off with the Cleveland Browns for Deshaun Watson. So they have draft picks just coming out of their ears. So for them to look at Will Anderson and say, you know what? We're going to get the best of both worlds. We're going to get the quarterback of the future that we need, that is compared to a Dak Prescott, that is compared to a Jared Goff. Again, not compared to Patrick Mahomes, but somebody that's going to be potentially a top 10 quarterback. My favorite quarterback of the draft.
You are really big into the comparative mentions, and there's nothing else you can go by. So yes, I get it, but let the man decide his future. Let the coaching staff develop him into who he's going to be. I don't think you're going to find another Patrick Mahomes, but if you found a Patrick Mahomes light or a 1B, I mean, I think you'd take it, wouldn't you?
No, most definitely. Most definitely, because I'm not saying that the comparison means that that's who they're going to be in the future. It is the trajectory of who they were when they were playing at Ohio State,
exactly,
or what they were doing. Now, Mel Kiper Jr. just released his biggest winners and losers of the draft. And according to Mel Kiper Jr., the biggest winner was the Philadelphia Eagles, getting Jalen Carter at number 9, Nolan Smith at number 30. Other winners that he has, and again, this is Mel Kiper Jr. I'm more of a Todd McShay guy myself. He believes the Seattle Seahawks getting Devin Witherspoon at number 5 and Jackson Smith in Jigba over at number 20 was a very, very good, solid draft for them. He believes the Baltimore Ravens getting Zay Flowers was a big win. He also says Broderick Jones, the offensive tackle from Georgia, going to the Steelers at 14, and the New England Patriots backing into cornerback Christian Gonzalez from Oregon at number 17 was also a big move.
There's a drop off at cornerback, though. There's nobody better than Witherspoon.
Correct.
The video, the highlights of Witherspoon, he's a Pro Bowler waiting to happen.
Now, according to Mel Kiper Jr., the teams that made the quote-unquote head-scratching moves of round 1 begins with the Detroit Lions. What were they doing? They had picked 6 and 18. They moved around, traded down. They got running back Jahmyr Gibbs from Alabama at number 12. Again, they've even come out and said that they would have taken Gibbs at 6, but they thought, oh, well, he'll still be there at 12. Let's go ahead and trade back. And then they got linebacker Jack Campbell at 18.
I mean, what else are they going to say? They have to sell Gibbs in some form or fashion. And I guarantee you, their post analysis, when the owners come down, the head coach and the player personnel, they have to qualify it by saying, well, we liked him at 6, but we knew we wouldn't be. We could wait it out. I mean, he better be 1,000-yard plus 1,500 yards total yard kind of offensive weapon. Otherwise, what were you doing?
Well, they got rid of Jamal Williams this past year, this past offseason, going to the Saints. So they do have a void there when it comes to the running game.
But that's irrelevant.
They do have Swift, but he always gets hurt.
But that's okay. If that's your goal plan, then great. But he better pan out.
Better produce. A head-scratching move, according to Mel Kiper Jr., is the Houston Texans, because they took C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson at number 2 and 3. And it's not so much that he's saying that they're bad players. He called it back-to-back stunning moves. What he questions is the amount of draft capital given up to move back into the top 3, given up picks numbers 12 and 33 in this draft, along with a third rounder in 2024. Says it's not the players, that he thinks that they gave up a little bit too much than what they should have. But Nick Caserio did say, GM of the Texans did say that the decision literally went down to the final minute of that 10-minute cycle to make this move.
Okay. But it's a good move. The pontification of, any of these experts sitting at a round table, it's try and be controversial, nitpick here, nitpick there. Anybody who's in Houston, Texas right now, was a Texans fan, is throwing a parade. They threw it last night. They're getting drunk at the house. We are going back. We have reestablished this team. Trust me, they had a freaking steak ass champagne meal after the draft was done, where all the front office people with the Houston Texans, because they won it.
No, it was a great move. And I understand where Mel Kiper Jr. is going, because they have those charts as to we need to give up.
But it's not always that.
But the thing is that what ends up happening, though, is that the Texans have 10 minutes to make this move. And if the Cardinals are sitting there going, we're not going to give it to you unless you actually pad this for us and give us a little bit more, give us that extra fourth rounder. Because if you're giving them pick 33, right, you essentially gave them a glorified first-round draft pick, because it's the second pick of the draft, of the second round.
The Texans had 10 minutes to do it. Mel Kiper's got a whole 24 hours
That's what I'm saying.
To recreate his, spiel the next day. Did he say that after they made the trade? No.
He also questions Bijan Robinson going number 8, again, because it's a running back, and running backs are running back. And the fact of the matter is that they had a 1,000-yard running back in Tyler Algier already there that they got in the 5th round last year. So he's saying, you know what, I understand, but are you going to be running both? Is that what we're doing?
Well, that's what I was saying earlier. Someone's got to, if this is a shared running approach, split it down the middle, 50-50, was that a good pick with Bijan?
If it's 50-50, no. I think Bijan will command at least 70% of the touches.
Okay, well, that's not like it's, that's just a little bit north of 50. If 70% is the magic number, and we're talking about, 900 yards like we did a little earlier in this conversation, you got to wonder, was this the right move for Bijan going to the Falcons? Now, it wasn't up to him, but why would you? I don't know the other needs for the Falcons, but if you have this draft, this running back tandem already, then why were you going down the path where you're not going to have to share the ball?
I wonder at other parts of the draft at 25, the Buffalo Bills jumping over the Cowboys to get Dalton Kincaid, the tight end from Utah.
Because they thought, like everybody else in the freaking world, they're going tight end. And they might have been going tight end. We're never ultimately going to know.
Yeah, we're never going to know. But the Cowboys, they're getting Mazi Smith at number 26. That is a very sound move. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm going to look back and go, Miles Murphy from Clemson was there. Brian Breesy from Clemson was there. Nolan Smith from Georgia was there. So there are a lot of good defensive players that played for big-time programs that were available at that time. But my goodness, it was a move right there of normalcy. It was a move out right there that is something that Jerry Jones didn't do early on in his career. The Cowboys really are, when they're saying that they want to make this a 10-year run, or at least have a consistency within the team, that's what they're building right now.
Right. Who do you think the rudder is in that conversation?
Stephen Jones.
I think it's Mike McCarthy.
Maybe a little bit of both. Maybe they have.
I think it very easily could be.
It's a collaboration of the two.
But for McCarthy to decide that, we're going to run the ball in a West Coast offense. If you want me to be successful, then you listen to me, Jerry, and listen to what I need to make this offense successful.
Kielbasa Smoke Meats phone line 656 ESPN. Let's go to Josh on line 1. What's up, Josh? You want to talk about Texans? What's going on, baby?
Yeah, I think the Texans did win the draft. They picked the guy that they needed. They got the QB, and they got their defensive player. You know DeMeco Ryans was happy when he got Will Anderson. I think Nick Caserio, he wanted C.J. Stroud. You now have two cornerstones of that team. You got the two faces that are going to be on the programs. They're going to be the ones that everyone's selling, that are going to be buying tickets to go see. I wasn't happy with the C.J. Stroud pick, but hey, they got the quarterback. They got a guy that they needed, someone that they believe in. And now you just got to put the pieces around them and hope that it all works. And I think they did great. So, I think the Eagles might have done a little better because I think Jalen Carter now going back to his little Georgia buddies with Jordan Davis and Kobe Dean, who were two leaders of that defense those few years before. That's going to kind of straighten him down the straight and narrow, I believe. And I don't think he's going to do any more street racing, but, Texas did do amazing.
That's a very good point.
They gave a lot of pieces up, but sometimes you got to pay handsomely to go get the guys that you want. And you just think about it later. Think about it when you look at those Super Bowl trophies. Hopefully we get
Thanks, buddy.
Josh, I appreciate it. And beyond that, they got hope. They got hope because they got their quarterback. They can sell the hope. And that's the great thing about what the Houston Texans did yesterday. Did they give up too much? Maybe mathematically they did. But you're
doing it based on someone pontificating on a TV because he wants to try and make a point. I don't think he would actually make it as a general manager.
Right.
Because it's all about the numbers.
It's hindsight 2020 is basically what's going on.
It had a lot to do with it. But if you want to talk about the numbers, that's fine because the numbers play into it and every general manager plays by the numbers. But then there's the extra on top. The icing, the cherry. This guy means this to this franchise versus just another player and the line item of numbers. The extra icing, the extra cherry on top of the cake.
That's Tim Spence. I'm Mike Jimenez. When we come back, we're going to put a bow on the show, get you ready for the Blitz because we hope to hear from new Dallas Cowboy first-round draft pick Mazi Smith during the Blitz. This is Jimenez and Spence on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's R&R in the morning, tomorrow at 6.
Coming up at 3 on the Blitz, we are live again at the dive bar, and we are reacting to what happened last night.
What a night it was in the NFL draft. All the reaction will get you ready for rounds 2 and 3. The dive bar on Babcock Road. We'll see you out there at 3.
R&R in the morning, tomorrow at 6 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Do you consider yourself a bourbon connoisseur? At Twin Peaks, we're proud to offer an exclusive and extensive collection of some of the most incredibly rare bourbons and whiskeys you're going to find. Also, rare and great tequilas. Plus, go check out the Barrel Selects, which are handpicked by Twin Peaks' team of experts that are bottled just for you. With 4 San Antonio locations, there's no excuse to not stop by and have a bourbon or a freezing cold 29-degree draft brew. Step up your bourbon game at Twin Peaks. You know why you're going. The eats are great, the drinks are icy cold, but it's those scenic views.
Sadly, 1 in 3 women in the U.S. will experience physical abuse from an intimate partner. Violence and sexual exploitation of children is also a significant problem. By providing housing, healing, and prevention, Christie's Hope creates an environment where people feel freedom from abuse. Thomas J. Henry is proud to team up with Christie's Hope to help bring an end to domestic violence for good. Help us create a legacy of resilience and hope. Donate today at christieshope.org.
I can't wait for what's next. Even with higher stroke risk due to atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Eliquis, apixaban tablets, reduces stroke risk. It's the #1 cardiologist-prescribed blood thinner. Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without talking to your doctor, as this may increase your risk of stroke. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or have antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or unusual bruising, or if you have tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. It may increase your bleeding risk if you take medicines such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELOQUIS.
San Antonio professional boxing is on another level. SA Sports Star is proud to announce our partnership with Davies Entertainment for Viva La Brawl. Mark your calendars, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo at the Techport Arena to see San Antonio's very own Castaneda brothers, Kendo and Jairo Castaneda. Headline a card that features Brown Navarez versus Daniel Heinen, Destiny Jones versus Brittany Ordonez, and more. San Antonio boxing like you've never seen. Davies Entertainment, Viva La Brawl coming Cinco de Mayo at the Boeing Techport Arena. Buy tickets now at daviesentertainment.com.
It's Michael Jimenez with Jimenez and Spence, weekdays 12 to 3. People ask all the time, how can we become part of the San Antonio Sports Star family? Well, if you have a business, reach out to us for sponsorship opportunities. You can advertise with San Antonio Sports Star with all of our talent here. Reach out to Morgan Harrison at morgan.harrison@alphamediausa.com. After that, she will get you in touch with one of our professional sales reps and get you going. Again, reach out to Morgan Harrison at morgan.harrison@alphamediausa.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
This is Rudy J, and you're listening to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Thrill is gone. The thrill is gone away.
The Blitz is coming up at 3 o'clock. They're on the road at the Dive Bar on Babcock Road.
6422 Babcock. And they'll be out there all afternoon. Stop by, check them out, have some fun. You know, I had a chance to check out their menu. And before I forget, though, Friday night, live country from 7 to 10 with Tones Country. I mean, just it's your quintessential dive bar.
Right. And which is beautiful because I love dive bars.
It's watch, listen to some music, go check the boys out, but then you're going to watch a little NFL draft. Make sure you get the chicken sandwich special. $6.99.
Nice.
Are you kidding me? $6.99 for a chicken special on a Friday night, draft night, country music night? I mean, where do I sign up?
Very nice. Yeah, it is on Babcock Road. I'm taking a look. It's kind of near the Prue Road area as well. So as a point of reference, if you're trying to make it out there, I am so fascinated by the draft, and this is great because you can go watch it, go hang out with Jason and Joe for a while. They're going to be live from 3 to 5, and they're going to be talking about the draft as well because the reactions today have been overwhelming. Lots of people excited for the Dallas Cowboys. Lots of people excited for Bijan Robinson, who's now with the Atlanta Falcons. And again, they're going to be not only live, but they'll also be, I'm assuming, simulcast as well on YouTube as well. Subscribe to San Antonio Sports Star. Lots of comments that we got today. We've had several people saying that I should not dance anymore on YouTube. I thought we were on a commercial break when that all happened. But I made a little bit of a dance move here on my chair. And Edwin left me hanging. He left me out to dry, man, because apparently the video was still streaming at the time. But that's funny. People reaching out saying that they like the idea of the Cowboys getting Mazi Smith. Not a sexy pick, but it's one that was needed.
I think Minnick said it perfectly when he came out and talked to you during the break. Not sexy, but needed.
Clifton says the Houston Texans will be a team to reckon with for years to come, but it'll take a couple of years. Makes sense. People reaching out.
I don't hold on a second. Do I expect them in the playoffs next year? No, but you know how it is. Parity is absolute. Okay, they're going to have. I don't even know what their strength of schedule is, but it can't be tough. Okay, so they have a leg up already, And if all these pieces come together for them and they end up, 500, they'll be throwing a parade downtown Houston.
Yeah. No, exactly. And the thing about the Texans is that your fortunes can change really fast, and they're on the right path with DeMeco Ryans and Nick Caserio. Nick Caserio saying, I'm not going anywhere. DeMeco Ryans, long-term deal, former Houston Texan, someone who's loved in that city. They are offering hope to the fans, and I'm really enjoying what they're doing right now. One last thing, Jason reaches out on YouTube and says, with Connor McGovern gone, and that Tyron Smith will get hurt, offensive line is important. That's what we should do in the second round.
I don't know how more evident it can be. You have to go O-line in the second round. If you're not going there, then you better be moving up for something other than just a tight end, because that's what you're doing. There's plenty of O-line waiting to happen.
Okay, if they go O-line, which is not a bad thing to do, and you probably think they'll go running back maybe in the third round,
somewhere in the conversation,
then why draft a tight end at all? At the end of the day, we're going to watch the Cowboys go all the way through the draft, 7 rounds, watch them not get one single tight end.
That's not out of the question.
It isn't.
It is not out of the question. And if they're going for one of those 2 top tight ends that probably will be gone in the first 10 picks, then there's got to be another need besides just the fact that we need a better tight end than Ferguson.
Again, the draft gets going here on San Antonio Sports Star at 5:00. Jason and Joe on the road for the Blitz at the Dive Bar, 6422 Babcock Road. Go hang out.
Get the chicken sandwich. It's $6.99, people. Come on. You can't do any better. And if you play your cards right, maybe the boys will buy you a beer, something.
And get Sheldon a beer while you're there.
Exactly.
This has been fun. See ya.
See ya.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.
It's a minute.